800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor.
Call 800-900-8000.
Mega mattress blowout on now at My Carl's. Twin mattresses from $79, full size from $99, queens from $249, and kings from $349. I even have twin extra long and California king size. Only at My Carl's backside New Harvard Shopping Center.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, good morning. 6:32. It is First News Keeler in the morning here on WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM. And we're joined in studio by a former host of the show, co-host of the show, Andrew Dominio. What's up, man?
Good morning, Mr. Manaski.
Welcome back. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm still trying to get my radio voice down. Is it okay? Does it sound all right? I mean,
yeah, it sounds good. I'll just tell
it's just my normal voice, but sometimes I feel like I've lost it.
I'll just tell you this, though. I'm no longer in charge here, so you don't have to call me Mister. Jeff
Sorry,
works.
Jeff.
Or moron. Hey, moron.
Putz.
So
How's
what's
everything
going?
Oh,
Good.
nothing
Everything's
much.
good. I actually, Bill was there as well. I went down to a Mets game on Sunday with my little guy.
I heard. And they got the win, which is rare for our New York baseball teams.
Yeah, it really is. It was a decent game, a pitcher's duel. There wasn't a ton of offense. 3-2 was the final, but it was funny. He had a good day. He was fighting me on going though.
This is Carter, not Bill.
Yeah, Carter. Yeah. So it's
I don't want to go.
It's the long trips in the car where he's like, he doesn't want to do it. So anyway, but he came around. We ended up going, and we left early Sunday. It was the Peacock game, so it was the early game. They start at 12.
Okay.
And that so here's how we went. Let me tell you. Do you know Sheridan Mish? He's been on the show before.
Yes.
Okay. So Sheridan is
a chiropractor.
Yes, he's a chiropractor, and he's got offices locally, Long Lake. He used to be in Wampsville. He may have an office there still. I'm not 100% sure, but he is the reason I know him is because he's the brother-in-law of a good friend of mine when I was growing up.
Okay.
So, and he's just a super nice guy, probably one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And he reached out. So he has season tickets for the Mets. God bless him. I don't know how he has that kind of patience. Losing season. Anyway, he's got season tickets for the Mets. And he asked, would I like to take my son? And then he asked if Bill wanted to go. So I was like, sure. And we went, like I said, we left Sunday morning. Anyway, we went with him. So I'll tell you something else that's interesting. Sheridan did what he called "It's All Going to Be Okay."
During COVID. I was going to bring that up, yes.
Right. So he would do these daily videos where it was just him in front of his camera or in front of his phone talking, just saying it was going to be okay. Don't stop worrying. Don't panic. Not that.
And then it stretched to other businesses that he was promoting, right?
Yeah. So and let me just say this. He wasn't saying that COVID was nothing and screw it. But he was just saying because everybody was so frazzled, especially at the beginning, he was just saying, look, it's going to be okay. All right. Well, it's going to be okay. And then he started doing when the businesses were shut down for a while, but when they opened up, he would do this thing where he would show up at a sandwich shop, right? Mm-hmm. And he'd walk in and he'd go live on his phone, and he'd be like, "Hey, I'm at Andrew's sandwich shop, and I'm enjoying whatever kind of sandwich." And he's like, "The next 20 people who come down here, you get $5 off or $10 off, whatever he was doing
on him, right?
On him, yeah." So he's just a nice guy, and so we ended up going down. And then what were you going to say?
I was going to say that he had the incident where, not the incident, but he had a flash in the pan, a bit of fame when he was wearing his Mets jersey with his Red Sox hat.
Yeah, so I didn't remember this, but we talked about it a little bit. It was opening day. I thought he said it was the opening day or opening series. Yankees Red Sox. He lost a bet to a friend of his, went down in a Red Sox jersey, but wore the Mets hat. And it was
it was that.
It was a Sunday night baseball game, I believe. So maybe it was the opening weekend. And he was on ESPN. I couldn't list all the sports shows he was on. And there's one that I'm thinking of right now, and I can't remember the guy's name.
Because they were showing clips from when they cut to him in the stands, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, oh boy, there's so many shows. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. He was on national shows all over the place. And then he actually came in here with us and like talked about his experience and all the stuff.
And then I saw him at a Comets game, and he was still wearing the jersey, I think, and the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was right around that time.
Well, it's funny because like he kind of, again, in the national spotlight, kind of became known for that.
Yeah.
So, and he was a local, and again, he's just a super nice guy. So something he does, and we didn't get into why he does it. I don't know exactly why he does it, but he calls them mish dips.
Mish dips. Okay.
So in the winter, he will go, I don't know if he's doing it every day now, but at that time, he wasn't doing it every day. I think he was doing it once a week. He would because he lives up in Long Lake. He's also up in Long Lake. He would go and like jump in a lake in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
And like in some cases.
Doing like a polar plunge.
Like a polar plunge. And he would have to like break the ice and like would kind of slide in.
Let me tell you something. God bless him, because if the water in a pool is, below 75 degrees, no go,
Yeah, and I think there's
as I've become older, my tolerance for colder weather has gone away, to be honest. Like, I'm dreading the fact everybody's so excited. Oh, it's fall. My girlfriend's like all, so excited that she can bring out the pumpkin candles and the apple spice and this, that, and the other. And I can't tolerate it. I can't tolerate it. And then there's certain stores that have Christmas decorations already for sale. It's just, call me a Scrooge, but God, can't we hold on to summer a little bit longer? I mean, where was August? August is come and gone, and it's been rain and cold and nothingness.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. We're not even to Halloween yet, and I know they put out stuff early because you got to buy early so you can prepare for the season, whatever it might be. But I mean, it was mid-July. They had back to school stuff, which doesn't really shock me. But they also had Christmas stuff out, depending on what store you went to.
They're pushing everything a little bit further.
So,
but he was doing these mish dips, right?
Well, he does them now. He calls them mish dips. But I mean, even a couple of years ago, he was hopping in just freezing cold water. So I think he's doing it every single day. He's going someplace and hopping into the water for his 48th year on Earth.
What a way to celebrate.
Every single day for year 48. Again, he's an interesting guy. He's a different kind of a cat, but he's just a super nice guy. And
he is a Mets fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
He's a diehard Mets fan.
Well,
as a matter of fact, he does the 7-line army, which the 7 train is what goes into Citi Field.
Okay.
Okay, so they actually, the 7-line, I'm trying to hang on. Yeah, the 7-line, T7L, because they have their own line of clothing.
The
7-line army.
Really?
And they sell it at Mets games.
No
and
kidding.
they design it. It's kind of like an offbeat style.
Is it anybody can join this thing, or you've got to be in the club? You've got to be invited.
I don't know 100%, but like he will go to games, to visiting. He'll go to road games, and like there is a whole 150, 200, 300 people, and they all sit together. And like if you ever, if you watch, like I'm just going to make this up here, like if Mets are playing at Fenway Park, they'll scan the field, and like you can see the 7-line army.
It's just like a big chunk of orange and blue.
Yeah, so he'll go and he'll do those games as well. So anyway, I say all this to say this. On the way back, we detoured a little because he goes to different places, right? He goes to all these different locations so he can jump in the water and do his little mish dip. So he does those. We did a little detour. We went to this place, Mohonk, Mohonk, Okay, it was like beautiful, scenic. We were in the Catskills. So on the way home Sunday, he's like, do you mind? I'm like, yeah, whatever. Sure, no problem. So we go and we do this little detour. And he went in and he jumped in and he did his thing. And then we stopped. We got some ice cream because Carter, right? We're like,
Listen,
you got to bribe him to get him to go along with it. It's like, hey, we're going to do this little detour here. So, but guess what? At the end of it, we'll get ice cream. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. And it's just interesting. So this particular place we went is, again, it's very beautiful. It's very scenic. And apparently members of the public used to go. It's not like a river, but it's like a bustling creek.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's parts where you can literally jump in and the water's over your head. But there's other parts where like you can like walk across.
Yeah.
So apparently it's a very people started to know about it. Word spread about this location, and
it was a well-kept secret until it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
And the people who live there, there's some houses scattered around. Like they used to get really upset. Now, part of that I understand because people pollute. People, they bring a lunch and they leave the wrappers behind and all that stuff. So there's signs like every 5 feet, private property, keep off, no parking, because they would park along this road. It's a very narrow road and almost block the road. But, a few dozen people would come and they'd kind of cook out and do their thing and right in the wilderness. And like people started to get upset. So I guess some lawyer in New York City won a big case and made like $10 million on it.
Wow.
So he buys this one parcel of land that's for sale. He actually bought a huge chunk of land, several acres, a lot of acres. But he turns this one area, he owns it, and he lets the public go. He made a parking lot, and there's signs up that say like, you're in touch with wilderness. This is a beautiful area. Anything you bring in, make sure that you bring out.
Yeah.
And he paid for it all. There's a parking area. There's like a little walkway so you can get over to the water. And it was just kind of interesting that a guy went and paid for all that out of his pocket just so people in the public could go enjoy this little area of wilderness. So he does these mish dips every day. And he was doing one, and he met a woman who is a steward of this land that I was just talking about in Mohunk, or however the heck you say it. And she told him about it. And we went there, and sure enough, man, there was probably 15 cars. There's people all over. Somebody's cooking out. These other people are just, sitting in the water in their bathing suits. And it was just like he described. There's like an area that they turned into a parking lot. It's literally the middle of nowhere. And it's, there's signs up that say, don't pollute and all this other stuff. So he goes and does that. And it was just interesting. It was just kind of offbeat, and he does it every day. And so I'm sitting there like, right, okay,
you're ready to get out of there.
It's not my cup of tea. Okay, it's not
right.
quite my cup of tea. And he's like, Jeff, you got to understand, like this is like I get really excited about this, like going exploring in new places and jumping in the water and wilderness and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, that's cool. I mean, it's awesome. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not jumping in with it. He's like, you going to jump in? I'm like, no, not a chance. There's not
Meanwhile,
a chance.
you've got probably your Mets jersey on, and you're not really prepared to do a dip.
Yeah, and I knew we were going to do it. I mean, I could have brought clothes to change into, but so I'm like, to be honest with you, I'm just gonna sit over here and have a cigarette. So
I'm gonna enjoy the nature while.
Yeah, I'm gonna
hey,
enjoy
listen,
the
my
peace and
lungs are
quiet.
being filtered as I smoke this cigarette with all these trees.
I hate to say that because it's so taboo nowadays, and I want to quit, and it's a horrible thing. It's the worst thing in the world. But so we do all this, and then he meets this guy who's walking two dogs. They were the friendliest dogs. They were big dogs too, but they were just so nice. So, and he's giving him all these other locations he can go because he'll meet somebody.
So the floodgates were open for.
He'll tell them the story, and they're like, oh well, you should go here, you should go here, and he meets up. He and his wife will go travel, and they meet up with random people, and they're like, we're gonna go swimming here. So anyway, check it out on his Facebook page, Sheridan Mish. That took longer than I wanted to explain it, but that was what my Sunday was like. It was very interesting, and then. So the ride home was a bit longer than we expected, but Carter got to have some ice cream, and so did I.
Always good.
Yeah, and
you have something in common with the president, Joe Biden. He loves ice cream.
Joe loves his ice cream. Yeah, yeah.
So no, that's good. I mean, we were talking about it. It all started with a baseball game, and as we were saying, the two New York baseball teams are really just trash this year. I did go to a Yankees game, and they ended up getting the win, which is a rarity. But I saw something on Facebook the other day of Brian Cashman saying, "Well, we got to figure out. I could have never anticipated this." I think the Yankees organization needs to clear house, starting with Cashman.
Okay, well, just be careful what you wish for. Let me say that. Be careful what you wish for.
I would say the last World Series. Okay, we're not complaining, right? We've had a lot of World Series championships, but the last one was when I was in college, 2009, and this whole, we're going to get people that hit home runs kind of method of trying to build a team hasn't really been working. It hasn't really been changing at all. You got the same model. You don't really have strong pitching. You can have players that hit home runs, but if you don't have anybody to get on base and a team gets a 6-0 lead on you like they've done several times this year, you're not going to be able to pull out of that hole.
So let me ask you, what do you think as far as if they get rid of Cashman, they'll bring in somebody who drives in more runs, maybe has a better ERA?
No, I'm just saying. You got to look at getting players that are more, base hitters. They hit the ball. They're not going. They're not swinging for the fences.
Okay.
You got picks like Giancarlo Stanton, right? He's been injured more. I saw another statistic. He's been paid so much money, like tens of millions of dollars, and they calculated his salary of how much he's getting paid for times that he's injured. Right, so you go out and, Giancarlo Stanton, he's awesome. He can hit a bunch of home runs. Let's sign him. And then half the year he's out, and they're paying him all this money to sit on the bench or be on the IL.
And that's Cashman's fault.
Frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
As the GM, he's signing these players.
I'm not going to argue with you. The Yankees stink this year. They're pitiful. I can't believe how bad they are. I never expected this, but okay, just be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for.
If the old man was still alive, I'll tell you, Cashman would have been gone a few years ago. The old man being George Steinbrenner.
Kathy's on the line in Rome. Hey, Kathy, how you doing?
Good morning to everybody. First off, I have to let people know that my husband came home yesterday and said, around town there are cameras up on the stoplights. So if you come here, make sure you're careful. I don't know what their different reasons are for having the cameras, but they're up and about. So
in Rome?
My husband said for me to be careful, and for the most part.
Is it you like to get a little risky, Kathy, with the yellow to red transition there at the stoplights?
No, not really. When I was younger, I had a lead foot. So, but I'm pretty. Bill would probably say I'm one of them pokey drivers now.
Yeah, Bill's got a lead foot. So let me ask you, do you know where? Did he say what intersection, what streets?
There's some on the boulevard.
Okay.
So
good to know.
When he told me, I was kind of not paying too much of attention.
Okay.
But,
you were still thinking about the weekend
that's a
at
symptom
Saratoga.
of a long marriage, probably.
Well, that too. But how was Saratoga this weekend? You went, right?
Yes, I did. It was so-so. I mean, when a horse goes down, that kind of...
They had to put 2 down this weekend, correct?
Several this year,
doesn't quite feel the same. I mean, I'm a big horse person. I don't want to see any horse get hurt. But it just seems like every race meet, there's a few horses that have to be destroyed. For the most part, when a horse goes down, you know that the odds are he's going to be, destroyed.
Yeah.
But you figure there's around 50,000 thoroughbred foals being born every year. And then you look at around the country, and it just seems like there's more of an increase of horses going down and having to be destroyed. I like turf racing, on the dirt, but I think it would be a little more safer to change over and race on the grass. It might help.
I just don't understand the need to euthanize. I get that, if they're a race horse and that's what their purpose is, that they can't be rehabilitated and, put it in a pasture somewhere, or I just don't understand the
Well,
need
it's just
to
when they break
euthanize.
when they break a leg, they're going to keep walking on it, and it's never going to heal.
Well, for the most part, a lot of times when they go down, they either can't get up or they get up, but then they're just hobbling and they fall down again.
Yeah.
So
it's
how does
sad.
that happen? Do they? I mean, I know probably people don't want to get into the specificities of this, but what do? They cart the horse off the track and then do it, or how does that happen when a horse gets injured?
A lot of times they euthanate the horse right then and there, and then the truck takes. It just depends on the veterinarian's.
So they'll just euthanize it right there on the track?
For the most part.
Is that what happened this weekend when you were there?
If they can do that, or they try to get them in the trailer and take them off and evaluate and see how they are. But I mean, you only have 5%. You get 5% that are excellent racehorses and do real good. But what about all the other ones that either break down and get destroyed, or luckily maybe some of the horses you can find somebody, that will use them as a show horse, or, or they get to retire in a nice green pasture. But it's sad.
Yeah.
I think there's too many foals, too many racehorses every year being born. 50,000, around 50,000 is just, to me, the odds of winning is pretty poor.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you for the call, Kathy, and thanks for the tip.
So be careful
What
in
you
Rome.
called in to say initially was that your husband says he spotted some cameras on stoplights along Black River Boulevard in Rome.
You will, now and then, you look around town and you'll see some cameras.
Yeah, I know.
I think
Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro, Scott, at the plaza right where the middle school is. I know that there's cameras at that intersection, and I know law enforcement agencies do this so they can kind of keep tabs on things. I don't want to mischaracterize why they do it. Forgive me if I'm doing that, but anyway.
Well, the conspiracy theorist in me, which, I'm not really, but part of it's like the state must be short of revenue because I used to get...
So hold on. When I say that there's a camera there's a camera there that monitors, but it doesn't issue tickets.
Okay. And then, so that was my question about the photo ticketing system for the arterial, or what becomes 5812, or where they're doing all the construction by Chenatries and the French Road there. I didn't know that you were able to, and I guess, there's some people have talked to me about the fact that they didn't think it was legal or right for people to be able to be ticketed based on that a cop had to physically hand you a ticket if you were to be ticketed. But it scared me into slowing down because I'm going 40 or 35 on that construction zone. I don't want to even get hit with anything. But
well, and to be honest with you, I think the police union also feels the same way.
Yeah, like you're taking away our job here.
Correct.
But I've been hit with 2 tickets this summer, and usually, being polite and everything, I get let go, but not in this case. So I've got to get these taken care
I want to
of.
hear more about that in a minute. Let's go to Mark in Rome. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Hey, Mark.
No, you mean Mike? Is it Mike?
Oh, Mike. Hey, Mike.
Oh,
what's
Mike.
going on, man?
Mike is Skyler now.
Oh, Mike, Skyler.
Mike, what's going on, man?
A lot's happened
doing?
since I left.
I know, right? Hey, I wanted to comment, especially what you just the last thing you were saying about the Yankees. Steinbrenner. It's absolutely. It's 100%. I mean, if he was still alive, it's amazing to me too, because you think about it, the last time the Yankees won was 2009. Steinbrenner was still alive. He wasn't there. He was like sick. I think that's when he started getting sick and everything. But the sons don't run the team like the father.
Right.
It's totally different. I mean, I think Aaron Boone would have been fired a long time ago. Number one.
Yes.
And especially Cashman. But I mean, I grew up. I mean, I grew up in the years where Billy Martin. He got fired 9 times. Steinbrenner kept hiring him. But the thing is, there was incentive. There was motivation. and you just don't see that with. You don't even see. I don't think you even see the Suns and everything, and it's
his
frustrating.
passion for winning. I mean, every team owner obviously wants to win. I'm not saying that the Steinbrenner children that are running the team now don't want to win, but George loved to win, and he was gonna. He was always changing things up, as you said, and even just kind of having that fear in the staff of, oh my God, George is going to be mad. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but it's true. I mean, he kind of he ruled with an iron fist in the sense that if you weren't doing your job, there was always the threat of getting the boot.
Repercussions, right? And how about this? And I remember too. It's like I remember 96 when they finally won. And it was, and remember, I think Wetlands. He was the closer, but then he made these changes. He got rid of Wetlands. Think, oh my God, why he saved every game? But it's like you can never question his moves because all of a sudden they kept winning in the '90s. They won all those World Series games in a row.
Yeah, but look who their closer was. Look who their closer was during those years.
Yeah, he had the greatest closer of all time.
Wetland, and then they put Rivera at the end there. But yeah, it's just.
Well, that Torre, I mean, they're excuse me, a lot of that run had to do with Joe Torre, and I remember as a kid watching, they'd go on a 2 or 3 game losing streak, and then you'd hear about the infamous Joe Torre clubhouse meetings, and then they would come out and win 6, 7 in a row. So, I mean,
and keep in mind too, you had a lot of good players on the Yankees.
But back then, a lot of that, so even Jeter, right? And a lot of those players that were essential to that 90s team and a lot of the success in the late 90s, a lot of that was farm club based. They weren't going out and just signing the next free agent.
Well,
that was
I don't know.
the
Tino,
the best thing.
Paul O'Neill, Bernie was a farm guy.
Jeter.
Brocious, right? Jeter.
And then remember too, even though all those big stars, but then a lot of times like the people that won the game too, they weren't always the stars. Like all of a sudden, like Scott Brocious, or there was like some
Hideki Matsui.
The big ones. Like there was always that. Even like Lawrence too.
And they had a great pitching staff too in the 90s too.
Yes. Yeah, but I'm just keep hoping for a change. I was going to go to a game this year, but then I'm thinking to myself, my God, every time I'm looking at winning. So Andrew, it's good that you went and they won.
I got lucky. They almost lost it, but it was a good game. And I always like to go, and I've seen people arguing about this on social media with regards to, I'm not going to a game. You still got to go to a game. You can't be a Yankee fan in the good times and then not be a fan in the bad times.
Is there such a thing?
You can complain. Listen, I'm the number one complainer. I'm going to be complaining a lot this football season.
I love it.
Trust me.
I love it.
The first time I went to Yankee Stadium, I was a kid. I was the original stadium. I'll never forget. I was there. They were playing against the Angels. Okay, Reggie Jackson was on the Angels, so I got to see him on the other team. But every single time he went to the plate, the whole stadium stood up and cheered. And even though he's on the Angels, and I'll never forget that as a kid, because there'll always be Yankees.
Let me end it with this, and I know we did a lot of sports this morning. Mike, thank you for the call. We're out of time. We're up against the top of the hour here. Mets game on Sunday. You know who got the biggest ovation? Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, wow.
Not Pete Alonso, not Jeff McNeil, not somebody in the blue and orange. Shohei Ohtani got a standing ovation every time he went to the plate. It's 7 o'clock, WIBX 950, Utica, Rome. We'll get into some other stuff this morning. Stay tuned.
A major storm is headed straight for Florida. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Idalia is at hurricane strength now, expected to make landfall on Florida's west coast tomorrow and affect much of the central part of the state.
Evacuations are ordered in coastal zones both north and south of Tampa Bay. Kathy Perkins is the emergency manager for Pinellas County, including St. Petersburg and Clearwater.
Again, we have a lot of inland areas, a lot of hotels, friends and family that you can stay with here locally.
Schools are closed in many of those coastal counties. School buses in some communities are being used to help evacuate needy neighbors. Tampa International Airport shut down overnight and won't reopen until after the storm passes. In Broward County, Florida, Evan Brown, Fox News.
That storm could approach the Carolina coast on Thursday. The first of former President Trump's 18 co-defendants to enter a plea in the Georgia election conspiracy case, Ray Smith, pleads not guilty to the 12 charges against him. He was an attorney for Trump's 2020 campaign in Georgia. Police in Washington, D.C. say a fight ending with a teenage girl dead was over McDonald's dipping sauce.
The 16-year-old stabbed to death outside the fast food restaurant. Cops say her killer also a 16-year-old girl. The fight over sweet and sour sauce used for dipping McNuggets. The dead girl stuck in the chest with a 7.5-inch long pocket knife. Rushed to a hospital where she died. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
Classes and events are canceled at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill because of yesterday's fatal shooting of a faculty member on campus.
The suspect was eventually apprehended and is now in custody.
UNC Chancellor Kevin Guskowitz, there was a campus lockdown for 3 hours. Police have not publicly identified the suspect or the victim or what any relationship between them may have been. They say that the gun in the shooting is still missing. Dow futures essentially flat ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password,
for you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to LifeLock.com.
We have mostly cloudy skies, 64 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX News Time is 7:03. Police in upstate New York have charged 10 people after the kidnapping and murder of a 33-year-old homeless man. Back in May, Thomas Rath was abducted from a homeless encampment in Ithaca known as the Jungle. His remains were discovered earlier this month in a shallow grave in the Tioga County community of Candor. Rath was killed within 24 hours of being kidnapped, police say, but his cause of death has not been publicly released. More arrests are expected in the case. Starting later this week, the cost of smoking will be rising across New York. That's because the tax on a pack of cigarettes will be increasing by $1 per pack beginning on Friday. The current state cigarette tax is $4.35 per pack, and the excise tax on small cigars will also increase by $1. This is the first time in more than a decade that the state has raised taxes on cigarettes. Supermarket chain Wegmans announcing a recall of its Jamaican jerk-style chicken breast and thighs. The products have undeclared allergens in them, including milk, soy, and wheat, which are not listed on the label. According to the USDA, the problem was caused by an equipment malfunction that might have led to cross-contamination. No illnesses have been reported. Anyone who purchased the products can return them for a full refund. The New York Racing Association has released a statement on the 2 horse deaths that happened at Saratoga over the weekend. Both New York Thunder and Noble were injured Saturday and needed to be euthanized. NYRA says it's working with the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority to look into what caused the tragedies and that it will do its part to ensure that all track surfaces are safe. Since the season began, several horses have suffered catastrophic injuries, leading to euthanization. 2 benefit concerts held over the weekend to help out flooding victims in upstate New York and Vermont are being called a major success. Fish played Friday and Saturday night at SPAC and helped raise more than $3 million. Fish keyboardist and songwriter Paige McConnell thanked everyone who decided to check out the shows and those who worked from behind the scenes to make the concerts possible. Donations are still being accepted through the Water Wheel Foundation. And Syracuse football in action this weekend. They kick off the season against Colgate. The Orange hosting their longtime rival at the JMA Wireless Dome. It'll be the 8th year on the sidelines for head coach Dino Babers, who led the team to a record of 7-6 last year. Seats can still be purchased through sites like StubHub, SeatGeek, and also through Ticketmaster. WIBX News Time is 7:06. Your Weather Center forecast comes to you from Eyewitness News, looking at showers and thunderstorms mainly this afternoon today, a high of 79 degrees. Chance of showers and thunderstorms this evening and overnight tonight with a low of 64. Wednesday, showers likely with thunderstorms also possible afternoon. Otherwise, partly sunny skies, a high of 74. Thursday, sunny, 73. Friday, mostly sunny with a high of 77. Staying sunny on Saturday as well, and a high of 80 degrees. Right now, we have cloudy skies and 65 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:07.
Heading into sports, the Mets dropped 5 of their last 6 games after falling 4-3 to the Texas Rangers in Flushing. Trevor Gott was charged with the loss after allowing 2 runs on 3 hits over an inning of relief. Brandon Nimmo and DJ Stewart each went deep in the defeat. New York will continue their 3-game series tonight at Citi Field. The Yankees snapped a 2-game skid after topping the Tigers 4-1 in their series opener in Detroit. Luis Severino earned the victory after striking out 8 batters over 7 scoreless innings. Aaron Judge and Gleyber Torres hit back-to-back home runs in the top of the 7th. The Yankees will continue their 4-game set tonight at Comerica Park. The Jets parted ways with 3 more players on Monday. Gang Green released offensive lineman Greg Sennett, waived linebacker Pita Taumopunu, and released linebacker Nick Vigil. In addition, New York also placed cornerback Jimmy Moreland on injured reserve after he injured his hand in the preseason finale against the Giants. All 32 NFL teams have to trim their rosters to 53 players by this afternoon. The Giants are getting closer to their final roster. On Monday, the G-Men waived guards Jack Anderson and Wyatt Davis, defensive back Zion Gilbert, and placed tight end Chris Merrick on season-ending injured reserve. In other news, The Athletic is reporting that cornerback Darnay Holmes has accepted a pay cut to remain with the team. Holmes is in the final year of his rookie deal and was scheduled to amount for $2.9 million against the cap in 2023. This has been sports for WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
All right, it is 7:08. Andrew Derminio sitting in this morning as a guest host. He gave me the look.
I was going to say, my agent will have a problem with that.
Sorry.
Weak. No, I'm kidding.
A little bit of a slip there. He's sitting in this morning here on the Keeler Show. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll move away from sports, I promise. We got into a little bit of a sports convo there at the end of the hour.
We always do.
Yeah, we always mention it somewhere, and we've gotten it out of the way now. WIBX News Time is 7:09.
This is Dr. Fleischer, urologist with the Mohawk Valley Health System Urology Group. MVHS, in collaboration with Upstate Urology, is hosting a free prostate cancer screening event throughout the month of September to recognize Prostate Cancer Awareness Month and encourage men to get screened. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer and the second leading cause of cancer death in American men. Approximately 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during his lifetime. Early diagnosis of prostate cancer significantly increases the likelihood of survival. The free screenings include a prostate exam with a PSA-specific blood test and will be held at the Faxon campus and this year also at Sister Rose Vincent Family Medicine Center on Hobart Street. I strongly encourage all men ages 45 to 75 to participate. Early detection can make a big difference. For more information or to register, please visit mvhealthsystem.org or call 315-624-HOPE. That's 315-624-HOPE.
Are you in the market for a vehicle? A vehicle that's like new, but you don't want to break the bank? Look no further than GM-certified pre-owned vehicles at Steet Ponte Chevrolet. With rates as low as 3.9% for 36 months on GM-certified vehicles, you can find new roads without the high price tag. Whether it's a Chevy Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, or Traverse, you'll get a 6-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and an additional 1-year bumper-to-bumper limited warranty. You can drive with confidence knowing your vehicle is covered. Visit online anytime at SteetPonteChevy.com to browse the complete inventory. Steet Ponte Chevrolet, Route 28 in Herkimer. See why it's always easy to do business at Steet Ponte Chevrolet, your family-owned and operated dealership.
Customer must qualify top tier through GM Financial. All taxes and fees due on delivery. Must take delivery by August 31st, 2023.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
Let's face it, talking about life insurance is never easy. But after we watched a close friend lose her husband with no insurance, we decided that wasn't going to happen to our family.
Yeah, but shopping for life insurance can be almost as difficult as talking about it.
But then we heard about Ethos Life Insurance. They're a new kind of life insurance, built for people on a busy schedule who don't have time for unnecessary doctor's visits, fine print, or hidden fees. You know, who want to keep it simple.
I couldn't believe how easy it was. We answered a few basic questions, and within minutes, we had an estimate of what it would cost and what sort of policy made sense for us.
I never imagined a life insurance could be so affordable.
And accessible.
The peace of mind knowing that our future is secure, it just removes a lot of the fear around getting older and...
Yeah, the unexpected.
I'm glad we talked about it.
I'm glad we went with ethoslife.com.
Go to getethos.com now for your free estimate. That's getethos.com. Getethos.com. Fred F. Collis & Sons Heating and Cooling and Insulation. And with all the smoke pollution we've been dealing with this spring and summer, maintaining good indoor quality is more important than ever. Call on Fred F. Collis & Sons to make sure your indoor air quality solutions are perfect for your home. This is Bill Keeler. Let's talk about cooling, as it's been so hot this summer. Collis has many different options for you. First, it could mean repairing your AC and bringing it up to tip-top shape, or possibly a heat pump. A perfect idea for cooling. A popular type of heat pump that Collis is proud to offer is the ductless mini split. And they have great programs available through the state to assist you in getting financing on the program. And in some cases, some people have had the entire project paid for. Another important step is keeping your home cool all summer long with upgrades to your home's insulation. And speaking of insulation, Collis is hiring for insulation installers. No experience necessary. They're holding an open interview day at their Yorkville office on Commercial Drive, Wednesday, July 19th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. No experience required. They're also looking to hire a crew leader, and that would require experience. You can go to their website, fredfcollis.com. There's a place right there to actually apply right online. Call them, 315-768-2323. Fred F. Collis & Sons Heating, Cooling, and Insulation, Yorkville, Rome, and Syracuse.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it is First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. Bill is off this week. It is Jeff and Andrew filling in for today.
Good morning.
Good morning. And there's several things Andrew and I want to catch up on. We'll do it live on the air. Some family stuff, some personal stuff, some
big things happening.
Maybe some political stuff we'll get into. But we go now to Father Joe Salerno is joining us, and he is on the phone. Good morning, Father Joe. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you doing?
Good. We hope that you're enjoying retirement, and we wanted to have you on to kind of reflect a little bit, if you will. I had reached out to you a few weeks ago, and you said, you know what, give me a little time.
Yeah, I need to enjoy this. I got to take in the moment
I don't know what retirement is like yet because I've retired. I've been retired for 2 days. So let me think on it a bit and let me enjoy it a little bit. So that's why we asked you to come on. And it's funny because I still see you at events. I've seen you at a couple of events. It's almost like maybe nothing has changed. What does retirement mean for a priest?
Yeah.
It's a good question, and I'm still trying to figure it out. But actually, in retiring, what I've done is put down the role of pastoring a community and being responsible not only for its spiritual well-being, but also putting down the responsibility for its fiscal well-being.
Yeah.
So I no longer have any administrative responsibilities hanging over my head. I no longer pastor a particular community. That's the hardest part, I think, of retirement. Not being on a consistent basis with the people that you serve and love and have come to know. And in my case, for over 21 years at Lourdes, now known as Mary Mother of Our Savior Parish, 11 years at St. Mary of Mount Carmel Blessed Sacrament. But I haven't put down being a priest. I'm still, I'm still an ordained minister of the Catholic Church. I still celebrate Mass on weekends. And I minister in any way that I'm at least asked. But what's great about retirement is I have the freedom to say, no, I can't do that, or I'm not available to do that.
Yeah.
Well, and
a little bit different.
The interesting thing, I think, too, is, not to cut you off, I apologize, but it's
not at all.
It's the people of Lourdes, and I could say I am a parishioner, even though I haven't been good. We won't get into that, Father Joe, but I'll speak on my mom's behalf here. The people of Lourdes were very fortunate to have you as their pastor as long as they did, because it's not too frequently that a priest gets assigned to a particular parish for that duration of time.
You're absolutely correct. Usually the custom of our diocese, the Diocese of Syracuse, was that you would be appointed for a 6-year term, renewable for 6 more, and then after 12 years you would move on to a new assignment. However, with the clergy shortage, instead of moving on to a new assignment, I was given an additional parish.
That's
so
the tough
my
part.
job became to put 2 communities together under the spiritual leadership of one team. So a little bit different in this day and age.
And, of course, you're keeping on the role of chaplain for Utica's fire and police departments, correct?
Correct. I am. And that's by my choice. I've served both departments for over 20 years, and I'll continue to do so for as long as I possibly can.
And ironically, I was, scrolling through social media this morning, and I saw that you're not really retired in the sense that you always got to be doing something. I see you have a new part-time job.
And it's just that. It is a new part-time job, working for the Nunn, McGrath, Michelinski, and Kowalczyk funeral homes. I have a little bit of experience in the area of bereavement.
Yes,
so
I would say so.
Whenever they have a need, and if I am available, I will be working part-time for them. I'm not going to be there Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, but I'll be working as needed and trying to offer some of my experience to bereaved families who may not have a pastor or who may not belong to a particular community of faith or a particular denomination. I'll be helping out in any way that I can in the needs that are there.
Well, and of course, that was always one of the things that impressed me most about my time working with you because, I don't know if many people know, but I was your sacristan for a few years in high school. But in your time as pastor at Lourdes, you had to preside over some very difficult funerals, including 2 police officers that unfortunately were killed in the line of duty, at least 2.
You're correct.
Yeah.
And there has been other difficult circumstances as well. So, again, while it was my privilege to try to serve the families of those deceased. Each time I preside over a funeral, it's a privilege. But to do that for Tom Lindsay and to do that for the family of Joe Coor, where I didn't preside, but I was one of several priests who were involved with Joe, was indeed, again, a privilege. And, every year there were probably more than 100 funerals that I presided over. So, So I'll continue in that ministry. But again, I'm free to say no, that I'm not available at a particular time or whatever. That's one of the unique things about being retired.
Well, and I know you've gone from, having to be the pastor of essentially two parishes. I know they've kind of, combined into one umbrella, I think, administratively, but to go from, being the pastor of two parishes and the chaplain of the police and fire departments and everything else you did, I mean, was it a learning curve? I mean, have you been enjoying yourself? Have you taken any trips? I hope you have.
I've just taken I've only retired since July 1st, so I've taken these months basically I had to pack, move, and unpack, and get into a new rhythm of ministry. So I really haven't had any time to take trips as of yet, but I'm sure that'll be part of the future, and I'll have the freedom to do it, where I didn't have as much freedom to do that as being an active pastor.
And you'll be able to go to more Bills games now, being that you don't have
I hope
the
you're
regular
right, because
Sundays.
I haven't gotten to many in the past couple of years.
Father Joe, go ahead.
Go right ahead.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was going to probably inappropriately joke that it'd be something to see you on Facebook smashing through one of the tables at a Bills game. But I don't expect we'll see that. But that was the mental picture I had when Andrew said that. So
yes.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'll try not to go there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, Bills Mafia, everybody, that's a Bills fan is considered a member of that group. So, nobody would judge you, Father Joe, if you wanted to go through a table.
Well, all right. We'll see if it happens or not.
Father Joe, thank you for spending some time with us this morning. Thank you for everything you've done for the community, and it's good to see you. And glad that you're still out there. You're still here for the community. In a limited capacity,
a more
relaxed capacity. And
there you go.
Thank you so much.
Slower pace.
Slower pace, yes.
You got it.
Father Joe
right.
Salerno, thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
So there you go.
I mean, when you talk about Father Joe, you talk about somebody who, even if you weren't a member of Lourdes, you probably had some encounters with him, a well-respected member of the community, and really has given his life to this area and the people he served, and you can't question that. And especially in a time where it's very difficult for Catholic parishes to find priests, definitely a great loss as far as that community at a Lady of Lourdes and the Rosary. I can never remember. I'm always going to call it Lourdes. They have the new name now, but definitely a tough loss. But now, like you said, he can help the community writ large now, and more people get to share the services or the fellowship of Father Joe. So,
yeah. Well, it was good to hear from him, and I know I had asked you to reach out to him because I know that you are close.
Yes.
So I'm glad he was able to spend some time with us here on the air this morning. We will quickly transition to Mohawk Valley Health System, Dr. Kent Hall, and he is on the line with us now. Good morning, Dr. Hall. How are you?
Good morning. How are you today?
Very good.
Good to hear from you. It's a reunion of sorts for me. I'm glad to be filling in on a day when you're here, Dr. Hall.
Yeah, Andrew. It's good to hear your voice, too. So I will also say that I think that Father Joe will also have more opportunity to eat ice cream.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That was always the thing. He would always kind of close out the Mass with is have some ice cream.
Oh,
so
yeah?
Always a good send-off to the Mass.
Sure. Look, I'm under the weather a little bit here with something, and I was in the city this weekend. How are COVID numbers looking in the region right now, Dr. Hall?
Yeah, so I will also say that I got an email from a listener that asked me to talk about this today also. So
oh, great.
So I would say, let's start at the most serious and work backwards. So as far as deaths are concerned, there has not been a significant change in the number of people dying from COVID over the last several weeks. There has been an increase in the number of people hospitalized, although I will tell you, as of yesterday in the Mohawk Valley Health System, we only had six people that were admitted for COVID. One was in the ICU. So our hospitalization numbers have stayed relatively constant, somewhere in the 6, 7, 8 range for the last several weeks. I will also say, though, that the number of people being infected, and now this is based on from the Mohawk Valley Health System standpoint, it's the number of staff that are being symptomatic and testing positive. We've had an uptick over the last 10 days to 2 weeks, so it is definitely an increase. And we know what the hospitals in Syracuse, at least what Upstate and Community have done in terms of going back to requiring masking in clinical spaces, and that's because they saw that same thing, only it was a more dramatic increase, especially in their staff getting sick. And they said that they were going to do that for about 3 weeks, and they started it about 3 weeks ago. So they were going to look at it again. So they're probably going to look at it in the next day or two and see if they want to continue that or not. There's a lot of question about whether this is from the B286, which is now I think called Parola. Don't ask me why they choose these names, but that's the name that they chose apparently for this particular variant. Whether it is because of that. So Parola has not yet been confirmed in New York State, but I will tell you my opinion is that we're probably seeing it because it's here, and we just haven't actually gotten confirmation that it is here. But we are definitely seeing an end-of-summer uptick, which is, if you think back what we've gone over the last 3 years, every year about this time we've started to see an uptick in the number of cases. So this is in line with what we have seen before. I'll be glad to answer any questions. I'm sorry, I probably took too long on that.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine.
So, but let me ask you this. Why do we get the uptick now? I mean, the kids aren't back to school yet. Fall weather hasn't hit. I know the last couple of weeks it's been cooler, but as you said, we've gone through this every summer. Why does August or late August bring on the increase? We're not back in school. We're still outside. It's not cold out yet. What's going on?
So, I don't know definitively, but let me give you my opinion, is that this is a time when people travel outside of their bubble. They go to Disney World, or they go to New York City, or they go wherever, which is outside of their usual and customary. And while they're not necessarily, inside and congregating with a lot of people, there are times when they are inside and they're exposed to other people, and, oh, by the way, they've got to get there. So they take an airplane or a train or whatever. And so there is an increase in the number of people that you come in contact with that you don't routinely come in contact with. Now, if you drive up to the Adirondacks and you spend time with family that you may not always spend time with, but you're outside most of the time, that probably isn't a significant driver for it. But if you're going places and, farther away, then that probably is part of the driver. Also remember that the incubation period, is anywhere from 5 to 14 days. So what we're seeing now and what we see in mid-August is actually what happened in late July or early August. So there's that delay factor as well.
Going into this season, and the numbers are definitely, I think, going up as far as cases. I will say, my girlfriend and I over the summer had a run-in with it, which was shocking to both of us. I had it again a second time. Thankfully, nothing too severe. Hannah had a little bit of a rough time with it, but where have we come, or how far along have we come where as far as treatments go and knowing more about the disease, where if we start to see an increase in numbers, are you, obviously it's still a serious thing, but are you more comfortable now treating and, taking care of those who have this disease still? Are you more comfortable, I guess is what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I would say, certainly from a hospital standpoint, I think we've learned a lot in the last 3 years, what to do and what not to do. And so, yeah, I think that there is definitely more comfort in it. I think that, the fact that people either have gotten natural immunity because they've had the disease or they've gotten vaccines or both, also mitigates the severity of the symptoms that people are having. So even people that might have had severe disease, back in 2020 or 2021, are not having the same level of disease, which is not, again, I want to be very careful. This is not to say everybody. There are still people who are very vulnerable to getting very severe disease. And we talk about them all the time. The elderly, people with significant comorbidities, whether it's, obesity or heart disease or lung disease or things like that, they still need to be protected, and we, as their community, need to do whatever we can to protect them. But the reality is that, we have learned a lot in terms of taking care of folks in the hospital. We've also learned that there are some medications like Paxlovid that does help if it's started early, and so that is also good. So we have learned a lot, and thankfully, the other thing which is really a plus for humans is that as this virus has evolved and as different mutational strains have come upon us, they have tended to follow a usual course for viruses, which is that they become more transmissible, so they spread more widely, but they tend to become to cause less severe disease. And that has been true for this too. We don't know about B286 or Parola yet, only because there have not been enough cases for us to definitively say that it is A, more transmissible. We believe it probably is, but don't know. And B, what severity of disease it causes, whether it is the same as the most recent variants, whether it's less or whether it's more. We need more cases to be able to actually define that. But I'm sure that we will see that probably over the next, I would say, 3 weeks.
Do you see any reinstitution of, possible mask mandates, at least at Mohawk Valley Health System or beyond?
So right now, that is not in the offing, but I'm not going to say that we might not go to that. I mean, our colleagues in Syracuse went just in that direction.
Yeah.
So I can't definitively say that we would not, but right now, based on the numbers that we're seeing within our system, we don't see that is a necessity.
Doc, what is your take, your personal opinion on at-home testing, the little kits that you get to test at home?
Yeah, no, I think that they're definitely worthwhile, and I will tell you. So
that's how I knew I had it.
My stepdaughter is living in Kentucky, and she came down with some symptoms, and she wasn't feeling well. And the first thing that I asked her mother was, has she tested? Because I think that anybody who comes down with symptoms that feel like a bad cold or the flu or something like that should be tested for COVID. Not necessarily because that means that they're going to, be medically managed or treated differently, but because they need to know so that they know that if they are indeed infected with it, that they need to isolate from other people, because that's part of taking care of our community. So I think that the home testing is a big boon. The downside, honestly, from an epidemiologic standpoint, is that because many people are testing from home, we don't know what the actual distribution is. But that's okay. We can use the surrogate numbers, whether it's hospitalizations or people that have to test, like if a healthcare worker becomes sick, then that, New York, at least in an Article 28 in a hospital in New York State, then they have to, they need to be tested so that we know whether they can be working or not. So there are surrogate numbers that we can use, but obviously we don't have the same kind of, reliable data as we did back in 2020 and 2021, where all the testing was mandated and it was centralized and things like that.
Right. The only reason I ask is I just I wonder. I think Keeler's a little skeptical of the at-home tests, and I was just curious your thoughts on that. So, and then we have a comment here coming in, and it says, I know you talked about Paxlovid. Are they still prescribing it for patients with the new variant, which is called, I guess you said Parola?
Yeah. So the answer is yes. The way that drug works is actually it inhibits the virus from replicating, so it is not dependent on the mutation sites and the spike protein or anything like that. It actually, it works by getting into the virus and as it's replicating and disrupting the replication process.
MVHS, Dr. Kent Hall.
We're definitely getting...
Oh, I just hung up on him. I was trying to... Devin, is that... Did they have a question for Dr. Hall? Oh, hang on. Let me turn your... Go ahead. What's that?
Yes. His question was if they... I think this is probably him calling back. Give me one second.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I think I hung up on the caller and Dr. Hall.
Oh, both of them, respectively.
Yeah, so
okay.
That's why
you and those phones. I don't know if we ever want to get in that Frankie Valli story ever, but there was a time we almost had Frankie Valli on this program, but God, that's a throwback. Frankie Valli. Oh boy. No, I can't hear you.
So what do we have here, Devin?
This is Tim for a question for Dr. Hall.
Okay.
Is Dr. Hall back on?
Too.
No, I hung up on Dr. Hall. Of course I did. Tim, what was your question? I lost Dr. Hall here. I accidentally hung up on him. What was your question in case we get him back?
My question was, is there a preventive vaccine out there like the flu shot?
So is there for the new variant?
No, I think he just means for COVID.
Oh, okay.
For anything. I mean, I'm 68 years old, and I haven't had it yet. And
you haven't had COVID?
No, I've been one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, good for you.
I'd say so.
All right, so if we get him back on, there is a COVID vaccine out there, but it doesn't stop you from getting it, right? So, and that's the case with the flu also, isn't it? In most cases.
Well, right. It's designed, I think, to help mitigate some of
Correct.
the symptoms. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Tim, thank you for the call.
Thank you.
315-736-0186. I'll message Dr. Hall, and I'll see if I can get an answer for that. And I apologize, of course, because I hung up on him like he's Frankie Valli or something. All right, it is 7:39. What we'll do is the Hobica Law Firm free money question of the day. That'll be coming up in a few minutes here. Don't call yet. We will get to that coming up in just a few minutes. And let me know if that's Dr. Hall right there. Is that not Dr. Hall? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay. Yes, here we go. All right, Dr. Hall, I'm sorry about that. I was trying to get a caller on for you, and I hung up on you. So the caller's question was, he says he's 68 years old, and he has not had COVID yet. And he said, is there something like the flu, like a vaccine preventative? I mean, it's the vaccine that's out there, right?
Correct. And there is a new vaccine that's being formulated that should be coming out. My understanding will be coming out. It's going to go to the FDA and the CDC for approval probably in the next 2 weeks and should be out either late September or early October. It is a monovalent, so it's a single a vaccine targeted against a single variant, which is closely related to but not identical to the new one. But it is an Omicron variant. So that is as opposed to the flu. The flu this year will actually be targeting 4 different variants, 2 influenza A and 2 influenza B, which is usual. Usually the flu is either a trivalent or a quadrivalent vaccine, whereas this new one for COVID has been targeted to based on what variant was circulating over the last 4 months.
So that'll be out right around the time, hopefully, the new hospital will be opening up. It's really impressive to see how quickly the parking garage is starting to go up. how some of the fencing restricting that construction area is starting to come down. It's really starting to take shape, and you have to be excited in your role in the administration there for the progress that's been made and continues to be made downtown.
Yeah, we're really excited, and and now is the we're running into, or we're getting into high gear related to orientation for our staff. So we've spent the last several weeks doing what we call train the trainers. So folks have been being trained on how to orient their colleagues on the different areas that they work in, whether it's nursing or environmental services or facilities or doctors, everybody. And starting next week, starting Tuesday of next week, is when we're going to have a hard push for the entire month of September, where we're going to be orienting everybody who's going to be going into the win. And our dictum has been that if you are going to be working in the win, you have to go through an orientation. If you don't, then you will not be allowed in.
Sounds good. I'm definitely excited for it. And congratulations to you and everybody who's continually made it happen. I think it's really going to be a positive. And, of course, the exciting news on Friday about the hospital purchasing Kennedy Garage is also good news, I think, for everyone involved. So.
Yeah, that'll really help from a parking standpoint, especially with the medical office building. And, really that area is just going to be – it's going to be a beacon for not only for healthcare in terms of a healthcare campus, but honestly, the what I would call, I guess, the halo effect of businesses around the area and apartments and lofts and things like that. I mean, I just think it's going to be fantastic, and I can't sing the praises enough of the staff of the Mohawk Valley Health System. I mean, the leadership, yeah, we do stuff, but the reality is it really comes down to, the everyday people that have been, working hard and doing double duty, because we're still taking care of all the patients that we've always taken care of, and we're doing all the training and orienting and everything that we need to do to get into the new hospital. So, people are working really hard, and it's just wonderful to watch them. To watch what's going on.
Dr. Hall, thank you again, as always. We'll talk to you again next week.
No problem. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Please be safe.
All right, you too.
You too.
MVHS Dr. Kent Hall joins us weekly for updates on the hospital, and now we're talking COVID again.
Yeah, so I think what it was, we had taken a trip to New York City and got back, and I thought,
you're making me nervous because I think
you're making me nervous now.
The listeners can hear that I'm, I sound like I have a cold or I'm congested.
You were golfing in the rain all day, so we could chalk it up to a good old fashioned.
I want to mention that as well. So yesterday I was in a golf tournament, and Masonic Medical Research Institute. It was a great event, great golf tournament. I got a cool Yeti koozie, if you will.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's awesome. Matter of fact, I could probably put a cup of coffee in there and it would stay hot the whole show.
Yeah, those are nice. And
Very
you got
nice.
a nice trophy, I heard. Congratulations for your longest drive. That's pretty impressive.
We were in the tournament yesterday, and look, if you've ever played golf with me, I know people dispute that I shot a 37 at Heron Creek in the tournament a couple years ago. Okay, but
I don't deny it.
There were witnesses there. It happened. Okay, all right. I'm not a very good golfer, but sometimes I'm on. So it was kind of a mixed bag yesterday. I must have topped at least 4 drives that went 25 feet, right? I mean, and then I just smashed some drives, and I ended up crushing one on the 9th hole, which I didn't even know it was the longest drive hole. And
that's a tough hole.
We go out there.
It's uphill.
So, and it was Bill, who you're in the golf league with. And so there was a senior long drive, but it was a different hole. And then there was also a ladies long drive, but that was a different hole. So we see this stake in the ground, and he's like, "What's that?" And I go, "I don't know." We didn't realize it was the long drive hole, at least for the regular. It wasn't the senior one or the women's one. It was the regular long drive hole. So we go out there and we look, And actually, it was the women's long drive was also out there. And then I go, wait a minute, there's another one over there. I go, is that for the seniors? And he goes, no, that was on hole whatever. And he goes, I go, are you sure? He goes, trust me, I know. He goes, because I shanked it because I was trying to crush it. I said, okay. So we go over there, and it was the regular men's long drive, longest hole. And I'll be honest with you, I was probably 45 yards past it. And
Wow.
I smoked it.
Wow.
Yeah, I smoked this ball. So I was all excited. I mean, I was tickled pink, right?
Yeah.
And as we're leaving, as we're coming off the course, it rained all day yesterday.
Yeah.
All day. From the time it was like cloudy and there was like a little bit of a mist on and off as we were getting ready when we got there. And then there was a lunch, right? And then as soon as we're ready to go, starts raining.
Yeah.
And it rained all day.
Yeah.
So on our way back, we're soaking wet. We have to drive past the 9th hole after we played our 18 because we started on 14 or 15. We drive past the 9th hole, and I'm like, that is still out there in the fairway where I left it. That sign. So, okay, so I'm all excited. Longest drive. Now, I've been in – this is going to sound bad.
I meant to congratulate you, but let's go down this road.
I got a trophy for longest drive.
Yeah.
It's an awesome trophy. I thought, because when I walked in, there was some stuff they were raffling off.
Yeah.
And there was a driver on the table.
So you thought, wow.
I thought.
What a longest drive prizes. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, the trophy's awesome. It's going to be sitting on the desk over there.
Yes. Yeah.
I will show it off because I'm very proud of it. But
you were hoping for the driver.
I was hoping for the driver.
Well, obviously you don't need a new one because your one now is doing pretty
I thought. I thought to myself, well, what am I going to do? I don't want to try. I don't want to get rid of this
give this up, right? Yeah.
Because when I make good contact, I smoke it. So anyway, yeah. So I was in the rain all day yesterday.
That's probably what's going on.
Yeah, my ear. I get these ear infections. My ear's a little loaded up again.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel it. So I'm hoping I'm not. I don't know.
You'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
Let's do that free money question.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Maybe the question will be, what could I have?
Yeah, what could Jeff have?
What could I have?
Let's get Dr. Hall back on to diagnose.
WIBX news time is 7:47. We'll take a quick time out. Don't call yet. When we come back, we'll have the free money question of the day. We're going to go 150 today. No, what's today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go 150. We'll go $150 of Hobica's money.
Is this a thing where you just kind of pick the prize amount, or is there I mean, because I've heard it all over the board because I listen intermittently.
Yeah, so Bill.
So you just throw out a random.
Yeah. Well, no. What
prize?
Bill was doing was kind of escalating it throughout the week, like 100,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's been a couple times where he threw in like a 350 and this and that. So I'm gonna go 150 here. I'm gonna split split the 100, 200. We're gonna go 150. Before we go to a break, let's go to Bill in New Hartford. Hey, Bill, what's up?
Good morning, Andrew and.
Hey, Bill.
Congratulations, Jeff. I got a golf question I saw in the paper yesterday. Maybe you guys know it, maybe you don't. It's got in here an albatross. You know what an albatross is? It says a guy got an albatross on 238-yard hole 14 at Timber Banks Golf Course using a 3 hybrid.
Yep.
I don't know what the albatross is.
Okay, an albatross is the next one down from an eagle. So if it's a par 5, it means you got in 2.
Yeah, so you had your drive, and then you hit a second shot that was incredible.
Yeah.
And smoked.
But this is a 238-yard hole. It couldn't have been a par 5, I don't think.
A 238-yard hole?
Yeah, 238, number 14 hole at Timber Banks Golf Course using a 3 hybrid.
So, I mean,
An albatross has to be on a par 5. It has to be a par 5.
because otherwise it would be a hole.
Maybe his drive was 230.
Maybe he was 238 yards out.
Yeah, that could be.
Maybe it was a short par 5. It says 238 yards is how long as the hole was.
Well, so Bill, it could. What Jeff was saying is the second shot. So you hit your drive, and then you're 238 yards from the hole after that drive is probably what happened.
All right. Well, let's see. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys.
What course is it? What course is it?
Timber Banks. I think is that around Syracuse? I'm not familiar
Timber
with
Banks in what hole? What hole?
It was 14th hole.
14th hole. Okay.
All right, we'll look into it.
Yeah.
We'll get Dylan, right?
Devin.
Sorry. Yeah. It's early still for me.
I'll be listening to you guys.
Bill, keep listening, and I'll get you your answer.
We'll get Devin on it.
It is 7:51. I know I keep saying we're going to break. We're going to break right now. It's First News Keeler in the morning, WIBX.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Nos vamos a divertir mucho.
And that means we're going to have a lot of fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
It's obvious. We're being let down by the institutions we used to trust. The mainstream media are distracting us with meaningless headlines instead of focusing on the real concerns of American families. Countries we're at odds with are hoarding food, financial systems are strained, and supply chains remain too fragile. We can tell something is coming, so we're preparing. Folks are getting into self-reliance and investing in emergency food storage. And My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, makes it easy for you to have peace of mind knowing you're prepared. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and secure some emergency food kits. There's a dozen to choose from that contain tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one food kit for each family member. And while you're there, stock up on water filtration, heirloom seeds, and emergency gear, too, at MyPatriotSupply.com. It's time to prepare today. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Adirondack Home Furniture is the area's go-to store for top-quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. And all month long, Adirondack Home Furniture is having a summer sale event on select floor pieces. Stop in and check out their hot summer buys all month long through Labor Day weekend. Lowest prices of the season on all Flex Steel and Smith Brothers upholstery. Are you looking for a better night's sleep? Then check out their selection of Restonic mattresses or their private label fillable mattress line. Once you select the perfect piece for your space, they can deliver it locally free of charge, or you can pick it up from their showroom. So stop into Adirondack Home Furniture today for their summer sales event and save big on select floor pieces and take what you love home today. Adirondack Home Furniture in Riverside Center, Utica. Give them a call at 315-738-7817 or visit AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
Heritage Logging and Tree Removal is your trusted tree removal specialist. With today's extreme weather conditions and new invasive species wreaking havoc on your trees, you need to protect your valuable property and your precious loved ones. As soon as you suspect any problem, call and Heritage Logging will be there to assess your trees and give 24-hour emergency services. For all your tree care needs, call or text 315-796-2941
or go online to heritagelogging.com and Facebook at Heritage Logging.
The Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida Counties is your community foundation. Together, we've invested $125 million in the community, thanks to people, families, and businesses that want to give back and build a brighter future. And you don't have to have big bucks to make a big difference. Join us as we invest in the future of our community. Learn more about your community foundation at foundationhoc.org.
The official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is from Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Chuck is ready with coffee, espresso, lattes, iced coffee, and, of course, fresh bagels and fresh donuts every single day. Try the pistachio latte this summer. It is delicious, and it is a quencher. It's Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, back here. First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. It is 7:55. We're going to go to our man, Dylan, as you call him. Devin.
I'm sorry, Devin. Come
Devin,
on.
what's up, man?
It's all right. It's all right.
So,
no offense there.
I looked this up as well, but what did you find out?
So I went on the 18 Birdies app that I have, and I pulled up the course. The 14th hole is a par 5 from the blacks. It is 593 yards.
Okay, yeah. So
it's 593 from the blacks, 538 from the blue. It's a par 5 hole, Bill. It is a par 5 hole. Now, you had a caller who was saying what?
I had a few people call in, and they were saying if it was a par 4, a hole-in-one is also technically an albatross.
It is technically, but nobody would say that. They would have said he had a hole-in-one on a par 4. They wouldn't have said he had an albatross. They would have said he got a hole-in-one on a par 4.
Yeah.
So, yes. So, Bill.
Yeah, that hole-in-one's pretty impressive, but how about that albatross?
Yeah.
I mean, it
Bill,
doesn't make any sense.
so, Bill, he was 238 yards out when he hit his second shot, and it went in. That's the albatross. So all right.
Congrats to that guy.
What caller do you want? We're running out of time.
Let's go with caller number 3.
3? Right, caller 3, 315-736-0186. Your chance to win $150 from the Hobica Law Firm. We have a question here. I think it's a good one. It's got to do with a little bit of history, and we will take caller 3, 315-736-0186. Was there a comment I wanted to get to here? Too many things going on. Okay, so Matt says the cameras in Rome are not set up for ticket purposes. He doesn't think. I could be wrong, he says, but it's more so for accidents.
Oh, accident. Okay.
And like I said, in Whitesboro on the Boulevard, where the Burger King is, and the Plaza, and the middle school,
yes,
there's a camera there, but that doesn't issue tickets. I know because I've come.
You would have gotten something in the mail.
Gotten something in the mail. I've tried to beat a yellow before and not beaten it. And
well, and I think too that Utica,
if I'm being honest,
Utica obviously has cameras too, just to monitor. I think areas that may be conducive to some illegal activity.
Well, yes, and I also think it's for traffic or accidents, etc. We've got Mike on the. Is it Mike? Mike is on the line. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hey, good morning.
All right, here we go. Welcome back,
Mike and Skyler.
It is
formerly Mike of Rome.
That's right.
Here we go.
Mike, I have to be honest with you. Are you eligible? I think you're going to get this, and I don't want you to not be eligible for the money. Are you eligible?
For the
cash, for the money.
When's
the last time you won?
Find out?
When was the last time you won?
Oh, was it
Was it a while ago? It wasn't like in the last 30 days, was it?
30 days. No, it was longer than that.
Okay,
great. 30 days when
are you ready?
The money. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. On this date,
today.
On this date, today's date, this major storm hit the South, ravaging many communities, including New Orleans. Ready, go.
Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, that's it.
Is it?
That's it.
I don't know where the winning thing went.
Yeah, it's been hidden. It's been hidden. I don't know where it is, but you don't.
winning.
You don't need the sound effect. You just want the money, right? Yeah, Mike.
Sound effect, no.
There you go.
We'll
There's
give him
the
something.
sound effect. All right, Mike, you won $150 from the Hobica Law Firm. Thank you to Joseph and Andrew Hobica.
Hobica is going to kick your butt for that question.
No, he's not. He can take it out on Bill. If he doesn't like the question, he'll tell Bill not to go on vacation. That's what he can do.
There you go.
Mike, congratulations. Good job. We're just about out of time this hour. We've got a lot more coming up next hour. Several things I want to get into. 315-736-0186 if you have a question or a comment, or send it to us via the WIBX 950 mobile app. WIBX 950 Utica, Rome. It is 8 o'clock.
Millions
winds in its path. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Hurricane Idalia is heading straight for Florida. Fox Weather's Britta Merwin in Tampa.
Right now, the trajectory of this storm, the angle of approach, could be worst-case scenario for Tampa Bay. We're talking about a life-threatening storm surge, which is why evacuations have been called. In fact, when we arrived yesterday, we had to switch our hotel 3 times because the hotels were evacuating. This storm is just getting into the Gulf of Mexico. Things are going to unfold quickly. The conditions are going downhill tonight, and wherever you are tonight in the state of Florida is going to be where you are riding out the reality of what Idalia could be lashing out.
After Florida, the storm's on track to hit Georgia and the Carolinas. Surveillance video shows the white supremacist who killed 3 black people in Jacksonville, Florida, went to a different dollar store first before being chased from Edward Waters College by a security guard, then the shooting at Dollar General. President Biden.
White supremacy is a poison. It's a poison. It's been allowed to grow faster and fester in our communities to the point where the intelligence community is determined, the U.S. intelligence community is determined that domestic terrorism rooted in white supremacy is the greatest terrorist threat we face in the homeland.
The president at a civil rights event marking 60 years since the March on Washington. No word on a motive yet for a shooting at the University of North Carolina. A faculty member is dead. A suspect's taken into custody 3 hours later.
Campus Police Chief Brian James said they hope a conversation will reveal what happened.
We really do want to know the why in this case and what led to it.
There were no other injuries reported. The building where the shooting happened is closed as more evidence is gathered. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
The Biden administration announces the first 10 drugs targeted for direct Medicare price negotiations with the manufacturers. Among them, the blood thinner Eliquis. Pharmaceutical companies are suing over the new negotiation strategy. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss, even when you monitor your credit. If your identity is stolen, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
We have cloudy skies, 66 degrees. WIBX News Time is 8:03. This news update is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service, celebrating 70 years in business, 3 generations and counting. You can visit them online at clintontractor.net. Police in upstate New York have charged 10 people following the kidnapping and murder of a 33-year-old homeless man. Now, police in Ithaca say back in May, Thomas Rath was abducted from a homeless encampment in the city, which is called the Jungle. His remains were discovered earlier this month in a shallow grave in the Tioga County community of Candor. Rath was killed within 24 hours of being kidnapped, police say, but his cause of death has not been released. Police also say that more arrests in the case are expected. The city of Syracuse ranked one of the best places in the country to live for families. The study was conducted by U.S. News & World Report, which ranked Syracuse 12th on its list. The 3 factors considered were quality of life, affordability, and also job market opportunities. Topping the list was Huntsville, Alabama, followed by San Jose, California, and Green Bay, Wisconsin. Supermarket chain Wegmans has announced a recall of its Jamaican jerk-style chicken breast and thighs. The products have undeclared allergens in them, including milk, soy, and wheat, which are not listed on the label. According to USDA, the problem was caused by an equipment malfunction, which led to possible cross-contamination. No illnesses have been reported. Anyone who purchased the products can return them for a full refund. Beginning later this week, the cost of smoking will be going up in New York. That's because the tax on a pack of cigarettes will increase by $1 starting Friday. The current cigarette tax is $4.35 per pack, and the excise tax on small cigars will also go up $1. This is the first time in more than a decade that New York has raised taxes on cigarettes. NYRA, the New York Racing Association, releasing a statement on the 2 horse deaths that happened at Saratoga over the weekend. Both New York Thunder and Nobel were injured Saturday and needed to be euthanized. NYRA says it's working with the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority to look into what caused the tragedies and that it will do its part to ensure the track surfaces are safe. Since the season began, there have been several horses that had suffered catastrophic injuries and needed to be euthanized at the track in Saratoga. WIBX News Time is 8:06. Your Weather Center forecast calling for rain showers today and tomorrow, but then the forecast gets much better. Chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly this afternoon with a high of 78. Tonight, chance of showers and thunderstorms. Some patchy fog developing overnight as well. A low falling back to 64. Showers likely Wednesday. And some thunderstorms possible in the afternoon. Tomorrow's high 74. Thursday, sunny 73. Friday, sunny 77. Saturday, sunny 80. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high of 83. Labor Day, mostly sunny and a high of 86. We got a nice string of weather coming up here. Hopefully that forecast doesn't change. And 86 on Monday. I don't think we've seen that in a couple of weeks. It's been a bit cooler of late. Right now, we have mostly cloudy skies. We are up to 67 degrees. WIBX News Time is 8:07.
Games after falling 4-3 to the Texas Rangers in Flushing. Trevor Gott was charged with the loss after allowing 2 runs on 3 hits over an inning of relief. Brandon Nimmo and DJ Stewart each went deep in the defeat. New York will continue the 3-game series tonight at Citi Field. The Yankees snapped a 2-game skid after topping the Tigers 4-1 in the series opener in Detroit. Luis Severino earned victory after striking out 8 batters over 7 scoreless innings. Aaron Judge and Gleyber Torres hit back-to-back home runs in the top of the 7th. The Yankees will continue their 4-game set tonight at Comerica Park. The Jets parted way with 3 more players on Monday. Gang Green released an offensive lineman, Greg Sennett, waived linebacker Pitta Taumopenu, and released linebacker Nick Vigil. In addition, New York also placed cornerback Jimmy Moreland on injured reserve after he injured his hand in the preseason finale against the Giants. All 32 NFL teams will have to trim their rosters to 53 players by this afternoon. The Giants are getting closer to their final roster. On Monday, the G-Men waived guards Jack Anderson and Wyatt Davis, defensive back Zion Gilbert, and placed tight end Chris Murek on season-ending injured reserve. In other news, The Athletic is reporting that the cornerback Darnay Holmes has accepted a pay cut to remain with the team. Holmes is in the final year of his rookie deal and was scheduled to account for $2.9 million against the cap in 2023. This has been sports for WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
All right, WIBX News Time is 8:08. A quick timeout. We'll come back with more busy hours still ahead. First news, Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Do you feel like your current checking account just isn't working for you anymore? Maybe monthly fees are cutting into your already tight budget. Or maybe you're looking for more convenience with additional bells and whistles that allow you to accomplish more with less work. Whatever your reason, it might be a great time for you to check out the lineup of accounts at Adirondack Bank. From no-frills basic accounts to paperless high-yield accounts, we're sure to have the perfect solution for your needs. We also offer a large selection of extras such as customizable debit cards, electronic statements, online banking and bill pay, mobile banking, and mobile deposit. We also have a great client services team ready to answer your questions with our live chat. Visit our website at www.adkbank.com. Use the checking comparison tool and see which options are best for you. That's adkbank.com. Member FDIC.
What's your design inspiration? A picture on the wall? A photo from a magazine? A board you've made on Pinterest? Hi, this is Kira Meelan from Meelan's Carpet One. It's amazing what some of our customers bring to us for inspiration, and we love working side by side with them to help turn their flooring dream into a reality. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the job, helping you to discover your perfect flooring. And there really is so much to discover. Consider the latest flooring trends as you plan your next home project. Many of our customers are surprised by the incredible new choices we have available. For example, today's snap-together waterproof luxury vinyl is incredibly popular. It's durable and it's stunning, with so many styles that replicate hardwood and beautiful stone looks. We have options that inspire, designers who will help bring it all together, and always a beautiful installation. To get the perfect flooring, start with the right flooring store. Visit Meelan's Carpet One on Commercial Drive East in Yorkville.
Hi, this is Bill Cole from Gates Cole Insurance with exciting news. We are expanding with a couple of new offices in our area. One new location is North Country Estates Insurance in Lowville. They are another independent insurance agency that takes pride in making customers happy and fits our culture at Gates Cole perfectly. Here is William Schaub from the newest Gates Cole agency, North Country Estates Insurance in Lowville.
Working with us as an independent agent with this many companies, we will often call our clients and say, we're going to reduce your premium if you like. We have the companies that do well in New York and specifically this area. The coverages that we provide are commercial and personal insurance. That's the home, the auto, ATV, motorcycle. There's nothing more fun than taking care of a customer and being able to tell them that we're able to save them some money.
Proudly representing Finger Lakes Fire and Casualty Company of Trumansburg, New York. Gates Cole Insurance. We'll take care of you.
Go with your gut. Go with Dynovite. 70% of your dog's immune system is based in the gut. So, for overall health, good nutrition is vital. But how can you be sure your dog is getting the nutrition they need? A diet lacking proper nutrients can present issues like itching, scratching, and a weak immune system. However, there is a solution. DINOVITE. Dynovite is the delicious nutritional supplement created to boost your dog's overall health. And the reviews are incredible.
Poor Sam. He was a mess, always itching. Probably 2 weeks after he started Dynovite, I started to see improvements, and today 99% of his issues are non-existent.
Right now, try Dynovite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dynovite.com/radio. That's DINOVITE.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
It is 8:13. First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. Jeff Manaski sitting in with Andrew Dominio.
Good morning.
Sergeant Dave Olney from New York State Police is joining us in studio this morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Great to be here.
Good to see you. I haven't seen Dave in a while.
Well, if he turns sideways, I don't think you can.
I don't think you can. He walked in, and I said, who's this guy? Oh, my gosh. Congratulations, buddy. You look good. Lost a lot of weight.
Thanks. Yeah, working hard.
Nice.
Yep.
So can we get into that just for a second? Just what is it? Is it a change in diet? You exercising? Is it water?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything except exercise. I went to the doctor in February, and we were talking, and he said, next time I see you, lose a little bit of weight, or I got to put you on this medicine so when you have your heart attack. And I was like, did you mean if? And he's like, no.
Oh, my God.
You're a jerk. So I just went back last week and down 92 pounds now.
Wow,
that
good
is
for you.
Unbelievable.
I quit eating garbage. I mean, I don't walk across the street to get the mail right now. I just haven't had time to get into doing any exercise, but I drink like 5 liters of water a day. I don't eat junk. Fruits and vegetables never tasted better. I never thought I'd be saying that, but
yeah,
just quit eating junk, drinking a lot of water.
Water is the key, and that's the thing I've noticed. You know me, I'm like Oprah, up and down all the time.
Yeah.
And That's the only example I can think of. That's good.
I will tell you, I'm not plugging it, but I'm using an app, and you've lost weight. I've lost weight before, and it's so easy to lose it, but then you put it back on.
You put it back on, yeah. But the water is essential because there's a lot of I know when I'm being very good and I'm starting to see the scale go downward, it is when I'm drinking more water. But sometimes it's just hard to be diligent about it.
I don't like drinking water, and I don't go anywhere without this. And I drink, like I said, five of these a day. The app I'm using is Noom, and what's different about that is it makes you look at yourself. It really you have to read these little 3-minute lessons or 2-minute lessons, and it just makes you think about why you're doing what you're doing. Stress.
Yeah, I've heard that people have had a lot of success with that.
I've actually heard, and it's kind of I want to make sure I use the right word here. It would it be accurate to say that it makes you feel guilty about the decisions that you make? Maybe?
No, honestly,
shame.
Well, I want to say so. I read. So I didn't want to say shame. So I read a review of it, and someone said it worked, but they said it kind of shames you into. Accountability.
I don't think I'd use the word that. You kind of are accountable. It's awareness. It makes you aware, and it puts everything you eat in a color. And there's green, orange, and yellow. And at the end of the day, you can look at the analysis and see where you are. And when you first start, you got a lot of orange because that's your habits. And after a while, you're like, all right, I'm almost all green today, or I got some yellow, and it's okay. It's okay to do whatever you want. I still have pizza. I still have bread and stuff like that. I just don't have 6 pieces of pizza,
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like not a competition, but you're like a little contest with yourself and watching your numbers. And every morning you weigh yourself, and every morning as it gets lower, you get more motivated to keep going.
Sure.
That's the biggest
thing. Momentum is key. So I'll transition away from that, and my favorite Yogi Berra quote of all time, when you said you can't eat, you don't eat, you have pizza but not 6 slices. My favorite quote of all time from Yogi in his yogiisms was after a game, he told the bat boy, go get me a large cheese pizza and tell him to cut it in quarters because I can't eat 8 slices.
Well, there are some places I go that have that huge piece. I'm like, I feel good. I only had 1 piece.
I think it's a good transition to talk about what you're doing or what you have been doing, what you're continuing to do is you got to be resisting a lot of temptation at the Great New York State Fair.
Fortunately, I'm working out there for the whole length of the fair, doing drone stuff, and I am completely off the property of the fair. We're flying from across the interstate. If the wind's blowing due north, we get a whiff. Yesterday we got a little bit of whiff of the fair food, but no, it hasn't been bad. We got a nice little setup out there, and we're cooking right on a site where we are.
What are you doing out there with the drones?
So from 11 in the morning till about 7, 8 o'clock at night, we're monitoring traffic and parking, and that's all we're doing. And we've had some pretty bad rat's nests out there with parking and some really busy days. The first day, I think, set a record for the first day. I think it did.
That Lainey Wilson concert day was crazy.
Yeah. So one day we flew 8 hours in one day, which in the air 8 hours is a long time flying. It's just myself, my partner. And
so you're switching off, giving each other...
24 minutes at a time. You land, the other guy grabs the controls, go right back up. So what we're doing is we're watching where backups are in traffic, and we can see 3-4 miles in any direction from where we're flying, and we can see all the side roads, the state highways, the interstates. They call us from the Joint Operations Center. Hey, give me a shot of this intersection. Give me a shot of this parking lot. And we show them. They see where the empty spots are. They see what they got to close, what they got to open, where their snags are. And it's been working phenomenally.
It's just incredible how far the technology's come. I know you've always kind of been on the ground floor of it, and what state police and other agencies have done using drone technology. It's kind of come a long way. It's almost... how did we do this before?
I know they had pole cams, which they still have, but you only get 40 feet up, and you can only see limited stuff. Where we are, at night we fly and park it over the top of the expo center. We can see the entire fairgrounds complex and all the nooks and crannies. And
how's the video quality from that far up?
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's really, really good. It's very good.
Oh, that's great. So. The State Fair, of course, goes on until Labor Day. And any recommendations for people heading out there? Anything? Because I only ask just because you're out there. That's
go early.
Go early.
Go early. Yeah. Yeah, go early and avoid the deep fried Oreos, right?
There's that. There's that. I got to tell you, I love Tully's chicken. I mean, I love my summer, but when fall's coming, I'm getting my Tully's chicken, and it's killing me this year not getting it. But yeah, at night, out there, it gets a little rowdy sometimes, especially when you have certain concerts and stuff. And if I was taking my family out there, I would say go during the day, enjoy it. It's a good time. Tons of people. Go see the state police display.
Yeah, you always have. That's the cool thing. I always, in talking with your wife Dana and you about it, it's always a journey because you have to have the old patrol cars and some of the other things, your own personal collection and things like that.
I'm the car wrangler for the fair, so I know where literally every restored troop car is in the country, and I get them all together, and everybody brings them up for the fair, and we do the display. And again, very proud of that. Did it again this year. I did shoot over there yesterday to grab some pictures. That's
on foot or with the drone?
Both. Well, it's funny because where we are, friends will call me, hey, I'm by your car. I'm like, give me 30 seconds, and I'll put the drone up, and I'll take their picture from a mile away and send it to them on their phone.
Oh, my God.
Wow, that's cool. Funny. That is funny.
And you're doing a lot of, I think state police, too, has really been, I don't want to say struggling, but have been really trying to recruit as a lot of other agencies have been
struggle.
doing.
It's absolutely a struggle. Our numbers are down for people applying. Right now, the test is open. You can apply online, take the test. Our numbers, like I said, are down. We're like every other agency. We're dealing with the same recruitment and retention issues, and we're looking for good people.
Well, I mean, you've made a great career of it, and you
years.
enjoy it.
Wow.
And
30 years.
30 years with state and almost 7 with the county before that. So.
And what's incredible is all the opportunities within the state police to do different things. I mean, you're doing the drone. I'm sure there's a lot of other different roles and jobs other than just patrolling you can do.
There's so many things, and what's nice is we're a full-service agency. We cover the entire state, so no matter where you're from, you are going to get home eventually. It's only, sometimes you go straight home from the academy. Sometimes it takes, 10 months, a year, 2 years. But if you're into scuba diving or SWAT type stuff, drones, boats, forensics, investigating, we just have so many niches that you can get into throughout your career. It's just a phenomenal career. And state police more so than a lot of local agencies because we are bigger and we do more services. But pretty much all police departments, they're great opportunities.
A lot of benefits and a competitive salary too for state police.
Very, very.
Yeah.
Yep. We're doing. Nationally we do pretty well.
That's good to hear.
Talking with Sergeant Dave Only, New York State Police. He's up at the State Fair operating the drones and helping with traffic flow and some security issues. We had you on today, when you're scheduled today, to talk about the upcoming annual ride for Deputy Kurt Wyman and the Fall Festival.
Yes.
So give us some details on that. When is that coming up? And I know there's still an opportunity for people to participate in the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And thank you for having me in here. This is this event that's just so near and dear to my heart and the whole committee. It's 2 separate events on the same day, September 16th. It starts out with a motorcycle ride that starts at Harley-Davidson or Utica Power Sports. Registration will start between 8 and 8:30. Ride kicks off at 10. We have a nice little ceremony about 9:30, 9:40. Ride kicks off at 10. It is a beautiful route that we do. We go out to Sylvan Beach. We stop at the lakefront for a few minutes. It's usually the chicken wing run. We get to watch the boats take off at 1,000,000 miles an hour up the lake.
Which for you as a law enforcement is probably
it's really cool to watch.
Yeah.
And then we finish up back at Harley, and then Dana and I, we transition to, and then the rest of the committee, we transition to the park event. It's the Fall Festival at the park. There's soccer games all day. We do hay rides. We're going to have bouncy houses, food vendors, fire trucks, police cars, different exhibits there, and that's from noon till 5. It's all free. We're going to give away, remember this year, I think at least 8 or 10 bicycles. We give away one every half hour for free. So you attend, you get a ticket. You can also buy tickets, but you can get a ticket. We give a bicycle away. Last year was the first year we started doing that. You can come up and walk away with a new bicycle. It's a community event. It's a thank you. Exciting things going on in the park this year with the partnerships that we've made with the town of Whitestown. Senator Griffo got us a great grant. Marion Buttonshawn's done great things. And especially the town of Whitestown, our partnership, we built our building this last year, so now we have a concession building.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I saw that. My son plays soccer at the field there.
Yeah.
And I saw that was under construction last year.
We're having the dedication on September 12th at 10 a.m. Hopefully you guys will be up there, but we're going to have a ceremony up there to
Nice.
officially open it before the festival. So see some great things. And just when I first saw that this spring, after they worked on it quite a bit, and we had a meeting there, and I first saw it, and just little things Whitestown did that just I honestly was almost in tears when I saw it. They made the roof blue for Kurt.
That's awesome.
For law enforcement, and it was just like those little things that this park, it's coming together so well, and such a community and team effort. And the Wyman Park Committee is just unbelievable. None of them really had anything to do with the Wymans or Kurt. And afterward, after the tragic incident that happened, we got all these people together and formed this committee and have just done phenomenal things. And so if you want to register for the motorcycle ride, you can go to the Deputy Kurt B. Wyman Park Facebook page. We have a link to A&P Master Images store where you can buy T-shirts, sweatshirts, some pretty good swag. You can donate to the park there, and you can register for the ride all on that one site. The first year doing that online. So go right to the Deputy Kurt B. Wyman Memorial Park. You can register for the ride. You can buy stuff. You can make a donation if you want to. And every penny goes back to that park and what we're doing up there.
Awesome.
Of course, the park, for those who aren't familiar, is just off Route 840. It's across from Accelerate.
Yes.
Kind of diagonally right across the street there.
Yep. And this year, different from years past. In years past, we've had most of the festival has been up at the Gibson roadside. This year, it's all going to be, except for maybe some soccer games, it's all going to be down at the Wyman side for the first time ever because we have the building and the facilities, so we're going to move everything down there. So.
Yeah, that's something else that I think most people don't realize. The two parks are connected.
Mm-hmm.
There's, what is it? What's the name of that? Is it just the Whitestown
It's
Park?
the Whitestown Park,
Yeah.
Gibson Road Park.
Yeah. And then, so there's a trail you can actually drive your car. You don't have to walk or something. And then it connects to the Wyman Park, which is where the soccer fields are. And there's like a nice, I don't know if it's a track per se, but I've walked my dog there many times. And then now the concession stand is going up. Talking with Sergeant Dave Olney, New York State Police, about the Deputy Kurt B. Wyman Memorial Ride, the annual ride that goes on. There's also a fall festival happening. Again, it's September 16th. Registration for the motorcycle ride is from 8:30 to 10. That'll be going on at Harley-Davidson of Utica.
Yes.
Which is over on Commercial Drive.
Yes.
And then you said kind of recap the ride again if he kind of goes up to Sylvan Beach.
Yeah, so the ride leaves Harley, goes up past the sheriff's office in honor of Kurt, goes out 233 to 365 to 31. Then we make a quick stop in the beach, let everybody, all the old guys use the bathroom. And then we head out through McConnellsville, Vienna, come up through Taberg, over through Lee. It's such a beautiful ride. And the leaves, it's one of the last organized rides of the year. Knock on wood, the weather's always beautiful for us. You get to see the color of the leaves, and we're on country roads, and then we end up back over at Harley-Davidson.
He's scheduled to join us this morning, and I figure I'll bring him into the conversation, of course, Oneida County Sheriff Rob Masciel. Good morning, Sheriff. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Good. How are you?
Very good. We're obviously talking about the. Oh, you know what?
You gotta
grab
those headphones.
Yeah,
there.
grab those headphones there. Plug them right in. Thank you, Andrew. It's always, I love when we have guest hosts who come in, but it's always easier with Andrew because he knows everything here. So right there on the end, and there's a piece right in there. You see it? No, it's right in there. Yeah. It's right there. Yep. Okay, there we go. We just had to. Thank you, Sheriff.
Part, sorry.
we had to get Dave hooked up with some headphones there.
No problem. We'll blame Andrew for that.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
I've been away from this for a little bit.
Welcome back, Andrew.
Yeah, seriously.
So, is there anything you'd like to add about the ride? Obviously, a tragic incident many years ago that claimed the life of Deputy Kurt Wyman.
Yes. The committee that was formed almost immediately after that obviously very difficult time for our community. The community or the committee that Dave is part of has been just phenomenal. completely dedicated group of community members. Not obviously, there's a vast majority of them are not law enforcement folks on the committee. Many of them never knew Kurt, but they realized the sacrifice that he made in protecting this community, along with his sacrifices to his country. They've stuck together, for a long time, and their goal out of that original was to get a park in Kurt's honor. They work tirelessly every single year in organizing the ride and organizing the fall festival, and this is a big year certainly for the community, but obviously it's a huge year for this committee that Dave is part of. And I want to say thank you to Dave and everyone else that's part of that group, because they have, like I said, they've put a lot of work and effort into getting to this point for that grand opening official. Obviously, the park's been functional, through various stages, but this is the official grand opening of the completion of the park. And like I said, I just can't thank that group of volunteers enough for what they've done to ensure that Kurt's memory is there forever.
Dave, one more time. It's September 16th, the memorial ride, the Deputy Kurt Wyman Memorial Ride. Begins at 10, but registration starts at 8:30 at Harley-Davidson of Utica on Commercial Drive. There's also a Fall Fest going on that day. That's going to be at the Wyman Park. That's happening from noon to 5, also on September 16th. And then one more time where we go to register, sign up, get all the information.
Yep, go on Facebook. You can register for the ride at the ride, so you don't have to do it. But you can go on Facebook on the Deputy Kurt B. Wyman Memorial Park page, and you can make a donation. You can buy T-shirts and sweatshirts and koozies and cups and all that stuff, and then you can also make the donation and register for the ride there.
And again, that's right on the Wyman Facebook page.
Yes, and just to reiterate what the sheriff said, Rob, I appreciate it, and this committee, the whole purpose of this is just to remember Kurt and the sacrifice that he made. That's the entire purpose of this. So we're forever in debt to Kurt and to Kurt's family.
Sheriff, if you could hold on the line with us just for a minute here.
Sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And we'll take a quick break. Sergeant Dave Olney, New York State
Thank
Police.
you. Enjoy the rest of the fair.
Thank you so much. You
Thanks,
look
guys.
great, man.
And yet, keep up the good work.
Keep up the good work.
You've inspired me. I got to get that app. I got to do something.
Thank you very much. Good seeing you guys.
Good to see you, buddy.
It is 8:32. A quick timeout. We'll come back with more. It's First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
Hello, I'm Joanne Moskal, Chief Operating Officer for Hospice and Palliative Care. At Hospice, we often hear that caregivers think of hospice as giving up, but what they are really doing is giving their loved one the opportunity to make the most of the time they have together. When a patient is appropriate for hospice, they've already been diagnosed with a terminal illness. You are not giving up on your loved one. Instead, you are increasing their care by compassionate nurses to ensure they remain comfortable throughout their disease. We want to know what is most important to you and what a good day looks like to the patient and to you. Together, we will design the care you want on your terms. We often hear, we wish we had called hospice sooner.
Hospice and Palliative Care, servicing Oneida, Herkimer, and Madison County. Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford, 315-735-6484, or visit us at hospicecareinc.org. Hospice and Palliative Care. When you need us most.
The Wynn Hospital. Unwavering commitment and compassion. State-of-the-art technology and techniques. Advanced expertise and innovation. Consistent safety and quality. And it all will be exactly where you need it, because this fall, the brand new state-of-the-art Wynn Hospital will open in downtown Utica. Soon, you will be able to experience local care on a whole new level. The Wynn Hospital. World-class care is right around the corner. Learn more at mvhealthsystem.org. This is for you. At MVHS, our team members fell in love with care long ago. Their lives were changed, and their world has been expanding ever since. In respect, compassion, knowledge, and ability. And it's only just begun. Because fueling the future of care starts here at the Wynn Hospital. The Wynn Hospital, opening in October 2023. Learn more at mvhealthsystem.org. This is for you.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, Back here, First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX. It is Manaski and Andrew making his return, sitting in.
I'm a little upset that it's almost over. It's been good to kind of get back in the chair and get on the mic and fill in. So thank you for asking me. We want to really quickly just
You're
remind.
teary-eyed about it being over. I got a couple available slots later this week if you're interested.
Listen, I'll always come back. Before we get to Sheriff Mayfield and the reason that we had him on, somebody called up and asked about Dave's band, the Dusty Puppies. They do have a couple gigs coming up. They're going to be playing, which is open to the public, the CNY Stair Climb After Party on 9/9, 2 until whenever. And then they will be at the Babes Outdoor Patio, September 29th, 5 till 8. So you can catch Dave and his band doing that. But the reason...
The Dusty Puppies. I
that's
like
right.
It. And because somebody called and asked,
right?
Isn't this guy in the
He's
band?
in a band, yeah.
And when is he playing again? So
he's
there
a
you
Renaissance man. So we good morning again to Sheriff Rob Mayfield, Oneida County Sheriff. Good to talk to you again. The reason I was doing a little booking for Jeff too, because that was my old role. So I was like, wanting to do a little bit of that. The reason I wanted to have you on today. And I never really thought about this. In the age of social media and technology, a lot of people not thinking about it will just post anything to social media. I know sometimes a lot of people say, if you're on vacation and you're putting all your vacation photos up while you're still there, you run the risk of people saying, well, they're not home. Let's go to their house and rob them. Or I know that that's an extreme example, but back to school photos. What is the concern, and what is it you want people to know about thinking about back to school photos with the kids?
Well, like your example you just used a second ago, where you said that's like thinking the extreme. But unfortunately, Andrew, that happens a lot. Where people, they see someone's posting that the entire family's on vacation somewhere, and that's a perfect opportunity for someone who's just surfing, whether it's Facebook or any of the other social media sites, and they look for an opportunity, to strike. And we see that time and time again. We monitor crime trends across the country. We have an awesome network of law enforcement where we share different things and see what's out there. But the one trend that we saw probably in the past couple of years, and luckily, and I don't want to jinx myself, but it's not something that we see often here, but it's seen many times across the country where people are on social media just looking for an opportunity, especially when it comes to young children. So, parents want to be real proud of their children, and I get that. I'm a proud parent myself, and we want to brag all the time. But we just have to be real careful about what we're putting out there. Now, by no means am I trying to tell anyone how to raise their child or parent their kids or anything like that. I don't want people to misunderstand it. But, our job here is to share information, put out some thoughts and safety tips, and hopefully people, grasp them. Because, again, you see these, they call them first day boards, where kids will hold up a board and a ton of personal information on it, and some people will fill it out completely. Child's first name, their grade, their age, their school name, their teacher's name, while they're standing in front of their house that's got their house number right behind them, or a mailbox. Or as the bus is picking them up, they're standing next to the so-and-so school district bus number 1234, and they're holding this card that's got all of that child's information in there.
Wow.
And it's just, you don't even think, because, again, we're just assuming that there are all good people out in the community. And unfortunately, there are some bad people around, and they're just preying, on surfing around and looking for an opportunity to do something bad. Now, most commonly, this information is used for scammers, whether they're stealing people's bank codes, security code answers to questions and things of that sort. But the most concerning for us is the potential for a child abduction.
Well, so and also, too, I'd imagine that, and even you as a law enforcement person, head of a law enforcement agency, has to be thinking about the new technologies of AI, how sophisticated scammers can be, mimicking a child's voice or saying, help me, I need money. You're hearing about these scams all the time where elderly grandparents will maybe fall victim to these scams saying, hey, it's Johnny and I'm being kidnapped or whatever in an effort to get financial information and payments.
Exactly. And years ago, because I can remember when I was a kid, they would teach us in school, or our parents would have a secret word, so that if if someone you weren't familiar with was coming to school to pick you up, you'd have a safe word or a security word that you would use so that you knew it was safe. It was a predetermined word between you and your parents, that if someone you don't know picks you up and says this word, that means that, you're good to go. Well, that still holds true today more than ever because of the use of AI and because of all the technology that's out there. We still need parents to have a safe security word between them and their children. So at least there'll be some comfort level there for the child if something were to happen and someone unfamiliar with the child would have to intervene, So again, it's so important to be prepared for this stuff. I hate to even talk about it, but these are things, unfortunately, that we see across the country today, and I just don't want it to happen here in our community.
Sheriff, that's an excellent point you bring up. While we've got you on the line, I want to make a point about something you said about the house break-ins, and then I want to ask about the stop sign, the bus stop arms with the cameras in them, because I know those debuted last year. So the point you made, and I know I've heard about this before, and it is a real thing where, you post pictures of you and the entire family, and you're in Florida for a week, and, and then the house gets broken into because they know that nobody is there. But keep in mind when you say that, I hate to point this out, but if you're sharing that on Facebook and it gets around, the person who probably broke into your home is somebody you're friends with on Facebook. It could be,
or if you got to
very well be.
You got to really pay attention to privacy settings.
That goes back to privacy settings. I'm glad you mentioned that, Andrew, along with making sure the friend request that you answer is someone legitimate. Don't just try to get more friend requests than someone else, you know what I mean, and accept everything that comes your way.
Yeah.
Because, again, there are, fake accounts galore all over Facebook, and we keep using Facebook, but there's so many other platforms, too, that kids are using today. So it's critical that you're very aware of that. And again, I post a lot of stuff, but the cop in me, if I'm away on a trip, I don't post about that trip till I'm somewhere else.
Yeah,
so,
you inspired me. It's take advantage of the photo dump, right?
Correct.
Make sure you take all the photos, enjoy it, and then when you get back, say, "Oh, what a good time we had. Here's the photos."
Yep.
Bam.
Yeah. Because I've had people, I'll be at Stewart's grabbing a cup of coffee, and they're like, "Wait a minute, I just saw a picture of you at the, at the fair," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, that was yesterday."
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Wait a little bit. A little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mayshiel joining us. Sheriff, I remember toward the end of last school year, the county came out and said, "Hey, there's several districts in the area that are going to be adding cameras to the stop arm on the school bus." I think there was, a 30-day grace period where, drivers were allowed to get off with a warning?
Yes. There was a 30-day grace period towards the very end of the school year. We ran into a few glitches with some contractual issues between the attorneys working out, getting all the specifics in place. Plus, there was a little delay in getting some of the equipment installed in some of the buses. So even though we began at the end of the school year, the very end of the school year, we did go through our 30-day grace period over the summer, during summer school, believe it or not. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we wrote an incredible amount of, issued an incredible amount of summonses just from summer school buses being passed. So I cannot imagine what's going to happen here in the next couple of weeks when school opens. Several school districts, not all of them, there's 15 school districts in the county. I'm going to say probably 9 or 10 of them are part of our program. I don't have the list in front of me, but they are equipped with, there's about 168 cameras in Oneida County currently right now as we speak on various school buses. And what happens is the camera system captures anyone who who passes the stop school bus. The camera's not activated until the red lights on the bus is activated. It will capture anything that passes them. All the video footage from each bus is then sent to it's through the software where it's filtered out, where the system finds anything that it believes is a passed stop school bus. Those videos get sent to the sheriff's office. I have one sworn member of the sheriff's office assigned to this program. They view the camera footage. They have to, because it's a summons being issued, so it has to be a police officer witnessing it. They view the video footage. If they verify that it's been passed, the stop school bus has been passed, they sign off on it. That triggers the software to then issue a summons by mail to the registered owner of the vehicle with a $200 fine. And again, the one thing I'm glad we're talking about this, because we're going to put a reminder out, because over the summer we did get several calls from people who received summonses, and the return address on the envelope was from Arizona, and they believed it was a scam. It's not a scam. That's obviously the main center where all this information is being dumped into, and that's where the summonses are being mailed out of, a vendor's location out of state. But it is legitimate. It's got my name on there. It's got the obviously the information on how to pay the fine, and if you fail to pay the fine, it could eventually lead to a registration suspension.
So it is a $200 fine. Is there a court surcharge or something that goes along with that as well?
Well, no, there's no court
Okay.
surcharge. Obviously, in the state, in our country, you're innocent until proven guilty. So there's the explanation on there as to how you can choose to plead not guilty and go through the process through the local court if you choose to. But remember, it's on video. So it's going to be captured live, not live, but it's going to be captured on video. So I'm not quite sure what the defense would be of passing the stop school bus. But there, obviously, that opportunity is there. It's a civil penalty. There's no points because, again, this is allowed under basically a new section of law in the vehicle and traffic law just before COVID hit us here. So back in 2019, amended, where we could issue summonses for past stop school buses to the registered owner because we don't know who's driving the cars. That's why it's going to the registered owner.
Mm-hmm.
It's a civil penalty. There's no points attached to a driver's license because, again, we don't know who's driving it. We're just fining the registered owner. That's and that's the way around that. That's similar to the way the traffic cameras in New York City work, or the traffic cameras that have been introduced to some of the work zones outside of New York City throughout the state.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a civil penalty, which is a little bit separate. But we're expecting a significant number of violations. So we're stressing to people, this is about safety of our children, and when the red lights come on that bus, you have to stop for those stop school buses.
It amazes me. I remember a video a few years back. I think we had it on our website, and we covered it. It was a school district, I think maybe, I don't want to say maybe Dolgeville or somewhere in that area, but a school bus driver was caught on the bus camera grabbing a child who was about to be struck by a car. Because the car passed the bus on the right side where the door was. And the child was literally about to step out of the door, and you could see the bus driver grab the kid and pull him back.
Unbelievable.
And it just makes me wonder, what is wrong with these people that they don't know the stop arm means to stop?
Exactly. And again, this is, in the traditional, I want to remind people, the traditional stop school bus ticket is still out there. So if a police officer witnesses a violation of someone passing a stop school bus, they still would do the traffic stop. That person driving the car would get a traditional traffic ticket, 1174 section in the traffic law, which carries 5 points on your license and a more significant fine. So that still exists. This is a separate law that allows us to utilize cameras. Because I heard you guys talking about cameras this morning. Cameras can't be used for enforcement in New York State, only in certain places. So the ones you're seeing on the intersections and in these communities around, those aren't for passing red lights or anything like that. Those are obviously cameras mounted in public places, which is 100% legal to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's monitoring traffic or high crime areas, things of that sort. They're not being used for traffic enforcement.
So when you're going through that construction zone here locally, and it says the camera, and it's got the vehicle that's taking the pictures, you can get a ticket for that, or you can't?
Oh, you can. That's a separate issue now. So last year, Governor Hochul, that's a separate law. We're talking about construction sites. That's different. That is under the same concept as this past school bus one. So those mobile construction site cameras, those summonses are, again, issued to the registered owners, civil penalties, just like the school bus system that we are using.
Gotcha.
That's a specific law. What I was referring to are those mounted cameras at intersections. Again, the only communities that can have cameras on intersections used for enforcement of red lights or stop signs Those are permitted in cities throughout New York State with over 1 million people in population, and there has to be a local ordinance to back that up. So you take like Suffolk County. There's a bunch of red light cameras in Suffolk County because the population is there where it fits the law, so they're able to pass the local ordinance. When you see cameras like on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro, those are utilized for monitoring traffic, reconstructing accidents. Maybe in some cities it'd be a high crime area that there's cameras used for, for that type of thing. But as far as traffic enforcement, there's only specific places. So right now in New York State, outside of New York City, it's communities with over 1 million in population, and mobile cameras on construction sites, and cameras on school buses. Those are the only instances where you can actually get a summons for it.
All right. Well, thank you for clarifying that. It's it's interesting.
It's complicated, but again, the whole purpose here is to keep our people out on the roadways and certainly our kids safe. So.
And I just want to be clear on one thing with the school bus cameras. Mm-hmm. When you say you're surprised from summer school at the number of, what are we calling them? It's violations that occurred. You're not talking about, we had 8 this summer. You're talking, there were probably, what, dozens?
Dozens, yeah. I don't have the number in front of me because I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but it's dozens. And the neat thing about this system, obviously we know which bus it's coming from. We know the road that they're on when it's happening. Mm-hmm. We know the school district that they're in. So what we're also able to do, and we don't have a lot of data yet, but once school gets rolling, we will be able to find the hot spots so that whether it's putting more signage up, making law enforcement more visible, maybe the school district potentially changing a route to get off of, if we find out some roadways are unsafe, first thing we want to do is figure out why are so many cars passing stop school buses on this particular road in this particular community. That's all data we never, ever had before that we'll have to our avail right now. So it's also going to assist us in finding hot spots and putting a plan in place to correct these hot spots. So that we're pretty excited about that. So
when something is a civil penalty, if the fine is not paid, what happens?
If the fine is not paid, you'll receive a notice from DMV, and if you don't act on that notice, your registration would be suspended.
Okay.
If you get stopped with a suspended reg, obviously there's a bunch of tickets you can get there, but eventually a suspended reg will trigger your insurance coverage. It creates a whole mess. So there are consequences if you fail to pay that fine.
Okay. All right.
Stop at school bus stop arms is basically the lesson.
I mean, I just can't believe.
It angers me. It angers me when people do it.
Yeah. You will be amazed at how many vehicles passed. I mean, the county, there's a couple counties we compare ourselves to because of whether it's size or geographics or population. So we're very similar to Broome County and Niagara County, Oneida County. The 3 counties are pretty similar in a lot of ways. Broome County has this program. They had it a year before we did. You'd be astonished if you saw the numbers that Broome County has generated off this. If you get a chance, Google that up, and you'll be shocked at the number of people that have passed stop school buses in Broome County last school year. It'll blow your mind.
That money should go.
We're expecting the same thing to happen here.
That money should go back into the school system, but that's a whole other conversation, in my opinion.
Well, there is a revenue that's generated from it because obviously the revenue has to pay for the equipment, it has to pay for the software. The vendor obviously makes their profit, and then the remaining of it does go to the county as we are administering the program. So there is a revenue share in there, but the point is not the revenue. The point is to keep our kids safe.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I can't remember the name of the organization off the top of my head, but the guy's last name was Manella, and we used to have him on. Actually, Jim Rondinelli and I had him on This Week in the Mohawk Valley a couple times, and I don't want to misquote the number. I want to say per year, it was like
50,000 a day in New York State. 50,000 a day.
Oh my gosh!
A day.
Stop school buses in the entire state. Now, mind you, that covers New York City also. But it's 50,000 a day on average are passed every day in New York State during the school year.
That is
daily.
Unbelievable.
If I see you passing a school bus, I'm going to chase you down. Oh, earmuffs. Sure.
Yeah, don't do that. You'll get your own ticket, Andrew. But, I understand the sentiment. I really do. They're kids, man.
Yeah.
They're kids. So just to be clear here, because I do this often, you can drive around like a city bus, right, when they pull over? Like a city bus,
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Just check.
Just the arm.
Just checking.
Just the arm.
Okay. Wanted to make sure.
Flashing red lights. I mean, now between flashing, originally it was just flashing red lights years ago, but now it's strobe lights, the arms, and there's typically two arms on the bus, one at the front of it, one at the back of it. When in doubt, stop. You know what I mean? Stop.
Yeah.
So.
50,000 in New York a day. Devin, you got a question?
Well, this is a scenario. It's happened yesterday. I was going to the state fair, and I was on my I was going past onto the arterial in front of the ConMed building, and there was a school bus that had pulled over, and it didn't put its stop signs out, and I kind of sat there for a second and was confused on what to do, but I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to go around it because there was no red lights and there was no stop signs out, but my friends were like, go. I was like, well, I don't know what to do in this situation. So
yeah, I mean,
unless there's red lights on, you only have to stop for red lights, because obviously in off-bid season, not so much with school districts, but like your private student transportation companies, when their school's not in session, they are hired out for many things, whether it's transporting people to fairs, or they might be used on the weekends to transit people during a road race from the parking area to the start line, things of that sort. You don't have to stop unless you see red lights on. If there's red lights, you have to stop. But no, and plus buses are out, mechanics are out working on them now. They may be pulled over, taking a break, whatever. Unless the red lights are activated, you don't have to stop.
All right, good to know.
Thank you. Oneida County Sheriff Rob Macchio. We will we'll check back in before the school year and during the school year for an update on this. I'm interested to know how bad the numbers are going to be out there. So thank you very much.
Sounds good. All right, thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too. Oneida County Sheriff Rob Macchio joining us there. Andrew, thank you for sitting in today.
I appreciate you having me. Again, I always have to plug River Hills Properties and myself. If you're looking to possibly list your home or you want to buy a property, give me a call, 315-272-7419. I have a website that is currently being maintained, so a lot of people say, I've got your mailers and I've got your website pulled up and it's going to a default page. There's some website maintenance going on, but Andrew Dominio on social media, reach out to me, even if you have any questions. Even if you're not really serious, but you want to just have some questions about what your home's worth or value could be, give me a call. It's still a great time to sell. Inventory's low. A lot of people say, oh, well, the market, the economy's not great, the market's not great. Housing market here is its own kind of animal here in central New York. So we have a lot of progress going on with Wolfspeed, the hospital, what's going on in Rome at the base. A lot of people need housing and quality homes. And if it's priced right, odds are you can get multiple offers. And all you got to do is talk to me about it.
Andrew, thank you for sitting in.
Thank you for having me.
Devin, thank you very much.
Devin, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Calling you Dylan.
That's all right.
No, that's okay. So I'm just going to mention here as we wrap this up, you signaled to me and told me we were behind on spots.
Very
behind on spots. And then you did a live commercial longer than the ones that Bill does. Thank you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. This was my fee. That was my fee for coming in today.
It was. You owe me, so I'm going to have you back at least one day this week.
We'll do it.
It's 8:58. We're going to bop out early, 2 minutes early, just because I didn't hit that last break that we were supposed to hit. I hope you have a great day. We're back tomorrow live. First News Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 AM and 106.9 FM.
It's your turn to stay and play at Turning Stone Resort Casino. Enjoy award-winning hotels, dining, and live entertainment. Play the newest slots and classic table games. Check out the state's largest poker room. And don't miss our world-famous bingo hall. Turning Stone is the perfect gaming getaway. And the next big winner might be you. Turning Stone Resort Casino. It's your turn.
If you need a tractor that's small but mighty, Clinton Tractor has what you're looking for. The New Holland Workmaster 25S subcompact tractor is economical with deluxe comfort, and the simple two-pedal operation makes it easy to mow, load, dig, and grade. And qualified buyers can get low-rate financing on a New Holland Workmaster 25S. See them for details or at clintontractor.net.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
Are you in the market for a vehicle? A vehicle that's like new, but you don't want to break the bank? Look no further than GM certified pre-owned vehicles at Steet Ponte Chevrolet. With rates as low as 3.9% for 36 months on GM certified vehicles, you can find new roads without the high price tag. Whether it's a Chevy Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, or Traverse, you'll get a 6-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and an additional 1-year bumper-to-bumper limited warranty. You can drive with confidence knowing your vehicle is covered. Visit online anytime at SteetPonteChevy.com to browse the complete inventory. Steet Ponte Chevrolet, Route 28 in Herkimer. See why it's always easy to do business at Steet Ponte Chevrolet, your family-owned and operated dealership.
Customer must qualify top tier through GM Financial. All taxes and fees due on delivery. Must take delivery by August 31st, 2023.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
Track right now has the storm making landfall tomorrow morning along Florida's Big Bend.
Dahlia tracking up. It's a Cat 1 right now. Mandatory evacuations in flood zones like where I'm at in the Barrier Islands and some lower level geography pockets. Sandbags are out. They're boarding up businesses and getting ready. They have till about later this evening to get out of these areas. And where I'm at on Clearwater Beach, expected up to 7 feet of storm surge. That is the huge concern along the Gulf Coast.
And storm surge could hit 12 feet in some places. Rare videos released of an American in Russian custody since 2018, accused falsely, he says, of spying, serving a 16-year sentence.
The video shows detained American Paul Whelan wearing a Russian prison uniform and was shot in May by state-controlled news agency Russia Today. Whelan is seen eating in a cafeteria and using a sewing machine. He speaks briefly, telling the Russia Today reporter he can't do an interview, explaining, quote, which means I can't answer any questions.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. California's Attorney General is suing a California school district over a policy meant to preserve parents' rights.
At issue is Chino Valley's, quote, parental notification policy, which alerts the parents of a child's desire to change their gender identity while at school, even if that's against that child's wishes. AG Rob Bonta says the policy essentially lets educators out their students, saying it potentially puts some at risk of abuse, while also violating their constitutional rights and the state's privacy laws. He also accuses the Chino Valley Board of using the policy to, quote, manifest and harbor animosity, discrimination, and prejudice.
Fox's Marianne Rafferty. The first not guilty plea from a Trump co-defendant in the Georgia election case comes from Ray Smith. He's an attorney for the 2020 Trump campaign in Georgia. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password.
Are you any kind of a victim?